We didn't do a 5 minutes. All right. This is 411 Sports Talk Radio on 4radionetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer. That's me. I'm sorry. I'm double booked over here.
You double booked?
Yeah, my computer's double booked over here. But this is 411 Sports Talk Radio on 4radionetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer. Sitting in on this lovely Tuesday. It's Rain Tuesday, right? So everybody, it's double booked too. How many other double booked people we got? I hear everybody's music going.
Because you asked us to do something.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to do it.
Exactly.
Okay. We're all.
I hear it. The delay.
Yeah.
Everybody share
I'm cutting it
the
down.
live video.
Everybody
Is it too
sharing the
loud?
live video.
Oh, just turn it down. Okay.
Just turn that aside. You'll be all right. Yeah.
Everybody share. That's what we're doing. Invite your friends to watch the show. Let them know how to watch it. Did you tell your mom how to listen to one?
Oh my God, no. She's going to so kill me. Mom, I still love you.
She was so cute.
You always
tell
can
her.
text her, You can
tell-
text her the little blurb.
Oh, okay.
Let her know. She can go to the, I don't know if she has the app or not, but she can go to someplace.
There we go.
She can go to the website.
All right, so this is 411 Sports Talk Radio, 4radionetwork.com. Somebody's, you?
Sorry.
Okay, Shelly's double book. Everybody, okay, so we have no more double books, right? All right, I'm the bench foreman. Sitting right next to me is security. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
You got speaking to the mic.
I'm fine. How are you this day?
I'm great. Sitting next to security is Professor.
Everything is everything.
Which
Let's
is
get
always
this ball rolling.
There you go. Let's get it all rolling. And then next to Professor is the Doc.
Hello.
See, we made that up as we walked off the stage.
Yes.
Right.
So the Doc
Call
is
it the doc or a doctor? The doc?
the DOC.
I like the doc.
The DOC.
I like the doc.
I did
The
like
doc.
Buttercup.
I like
Buttercup. Dr.
Yeah,
Buttercup. No, Dr. Buttercup.
That's better.
No, but nobody else has
that's
names.
better.
That's why we cut off the buttercup.
Oh.
Because
You
what?
got because everybody has one name.
Bench
So
warmer,
that's why we
security,
cut off buttercup.
Professor.
But remember, doctor is just a title.
Yeah.
If you add,
Yeah, but if you say the doc, because professor is
That's
just
doc.
a title too.
Well, it's the Professor.
that's
It's
right.
the professor,
The
the
security.
bench
Well, you
warmer,
the
it's
doctor is
security,
fine.
just
Yeah,
security.
security, yeah.
But the doc,
We
the doctor.
we're making it up as we go.
What do you say?
What do you say?
What do you
yeah,
say?
he's the one that came up with the name. Daniel came up
What
with
do
the
you think,
name.
Daniel?
Would you prefer the doc or the doctor? It has to be either or the doc.
But we
or
want to
the
know, do we
doctor.
need to add Buttercup? That's her nickname.
He wanted
He
to
said
say
No Buttercup.
It doesn't go with
So
the
it's
show.
so
huh?
it's the doc. So it's the doc or doctor.
The
What
doc
you say,
or
Daniel?
doctor?
You gave.
Doctor.
I like doctor.
Let's go with doctor.
Doctor. Okay, it is doctor.
Okay.
Also,
That's
Shelley
it.
Yeah,
says-
because if you do the doc, then we're going to have to call DOC and ask his permission.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He can't talk. No.
You know what? You are so wrong for that.
I'm sorry. I'm bad.
So wrong. We
All right, so how-
apologize, Doc. We
So how's
apologize.
your weekend?
My weekend was amazing.
Uh-oh. We
Uh-oh.
got a singer? We got a singer? What?
We can go.
You sing too, Doctor?
No.
We can go on Star Search together.
That's my dad.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So your weekend was amazing. What made it amazing?
Well, finding some board members
Right.
and getting
That's
a
always
packet
great.
together for the foundation. So things are really moving. I'm putting together a benefit ball myself with some family members and stuff. And so we just had an amazing weekend.
Awesome.
Great.
We will be at the ball, right?
Yes.
We love to dress up.
It's a benefit party ball. So yes.
All right, Professor. Everything's everything.
I know, right?
Within the last week since I've been here, just went back to work and everything's back to normal. My mouth is fine.
It looks good.
I got a long way to go.
Yeah, but it's still.
What I got in my mouth is temporary because they got the hard part out the way.
Mm-hmm.
So now step 2 is to get 2 extractions from the bottom because they're broken into my gum line.
Oh, wow.
Once that is out and heal up, then they're gonna put the third part in, which is everything.
Uh-oh.
So what I got in my mouth is still temporary. They did the hard part and removing nerves, root canals. They did all that hard stuff.
Cleaned all that out.
Mm-hmm.
Doc knows about that stuff.
And then they had to put two implants in me to save my teeth, and then one just to make sure my brace holds up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. You had some amazing work done, though.
Really?
You did, yes.
Thank
and you had the most appropriate work because sometimes people will do an extraction without having anything placed in there, a bone graft or implant immediately, which causes the teeth to move and shift. So
shift.
Yeah, so
That's
was
what happened
excellent.
with mine. I was supposed to go back to the dentist. I just had an extraction in December.
Yeah.
Just one. Just way in the back.
Way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
I'm
mine did.
going to get the, it's a crown thing with a cap or something on the adjoining teeth. And the
So
thing
you're gonna
that
do a
goes
bridge?
down. Yeah, bridge, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
As long as it's not a partial. Because
No.
it doesn't give you...
I ain't trying to wear dentures.
Yeah, it's called a
I like my teeth.
partial denture, yeah, but it doesn't... The best thing about not wanting it is that it only going to give you about 20 to 25% function of what your teeth were giving you.
Well,
So
where you working? Let me just come to your house
Right.
and get it done.
She off
Because
the
I know
chain.
you going to get it done right. Let me just come to you. We going to talk after the show because me and Benchwarmer need to make some
make
appointments.
some appointments.
Yes.
Alrighty
We need to
then.
Get on there.
Just put me on out there.
Sorry.
How was your weekend?
It was great. It was wonderful. We went to Houston, and did you want to talk about it or?
No, you go for it. You good to go. I'll talk about my experience.
Okay. So we went to Houston, and we went to the historical Third Ward,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to videotape. And it was a great experience. We talked to some professional athletes.
Yeah.
And they have a foundation called the Ninth Wonder.
Yeah, Ninth
Excuse
Wonder
me, let me
Award,
get
yeah.
it right. The Ninth Wonder, and I need to look that up, and we need to put that on the website. But it was great. And then after we enjoyed that, they paid for a nice hotel.
I seen. Your
It
pictures
was
were amazing.
Beautiful. You
It
hear
was.
me? Oh my goodness.
It was all
And
right.
the room service. You need to quit. And the room service. And then the next day, we were unexpectedly able to go see my daughter. So we went out to brunch with her, and she fixed me up, and that's how y'all see all the pictures.
Oh,
She hooked
the
us
glam.
up. Oh yeah, she glammed me up.
You were so beautiful.
So thank you. That is, it's always so fun going to visit my daughter because she drives me crazy, but she makes sure I wear that makeup.
You got some
So,
stories to tell.
yeah, I got lots of stories to tell about her, but that's my ex
Yes, you
boom. Yeah, when you little, we ain't friends, but
No.
now she's a grown woman. We can be
We be
friends
friends.
now because I ain't got to tell you what to do.
Right.
I ain't got to discipline you.
Don't have to pay
You got your
bills.
own child,
Yeah.
so we can be cool now.
Yeah, we had a real nice time. The event was what was the event called? The Urban Experience. Yeah,
Pure
Urban
urban excellence.
Pure Urban Excellence.
I got corrected.
It was Pure Urban Excellence.
Pure Urban Excellence.
Which was we did a mini show there, and we
It's
found
about an
out
hour
that-
and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we found out that I think the mayor of New Orleans was watching
Oh,
yeah.
while we were doing the show, so that was nice. And then my day got interrupted because we had a flat.
Oh, yes. That was the next morning.
Yeah, and it was
Well, actually, it happened that
it was
night.
at night, so I figured, okay, so I called AAA that morning. Called AAA, and I told them it's a flat.
And we got the
And my
whole
spare,
program.
and my spare, I don't think I didn't get my spare fixed, so it's flat. So we're gonna have to get another tire. Now we're in the hotel. We're in covered parking. The parking garage.
Secure parking.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you, the hotel was
he comes in with a car. I got a
Not
flat.
a tow truck.
Yeah, you come in with a car. So he looks at the car, and I knew it was a flat. And we can't air it up. So we aired it up. He said, "Well, can you make it?" We looked at that at where the closest tire store was, and it's kind of hard on a Sunday to get a tire store.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked where the closest tire store was, and it said open. And it was like maybe 2 miles away or something like that. So it was right around the corner. So we was able to air up the tire and drive it to the first tire shop, which was closed. Matter of fact, when I drove up, it was some people standing out thinking they want to jump in the car to go get some work done.
You need to quit.
I didn't say what.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't say what. I just said, So then,
He's wrong for that.
time out.
Yeah, time out.
What?
You're going over.
Oh,
It's
yes.
Okay. So so it was a good weekend. Let me get to let me
He did
get
say he was gonna keep you on time.
let me get some news real quick. Louisville Max they agreed to a 7-year deal. Louisville's basketball coach. They got a new basketball coach now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a talk that Odell Beckham Jr. Is not going to re-sign his contract until he gets a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
So the GM and he's on trading blocks.
Mm-hmm.
OBJ is on the trading blocks, but the GM says don't quit on talent, but we don't want to put him on trading blocks. So I don't understand that. NFL owners approved the new catch and ejections rule, and they use Dez Bryant's. Dez Bryant's catch to show that his was a catch. He made 4 moves that made the catch. So they're looking at 2 moves. They're looking at the catch.
Yeah.
They're looking at doing a football move, and they're looking at ball placement. So if you have control and you do 1 football move and you land on it, it's a catch. He said that should have been 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line.
That's cold.
Okay.
That's cold, man.
Seattle Seahawks quarterback Trevor Boykin. They let him go because he's got this. He's in the wake of domestic violence report going on. And then the Pittsburgh Panthers hires Duke's assistant Chappell as a coach, in basketball. And then LiAngelo Ball is entering the NBA draft.
No surprise.
Why?
Yeah.
It's not like you're that good.
No surprise.
Anyway, Mariah Carey, guess her age? You can't.
48.
Oh, you looked at the paper. Come on now.
No, I didn't.
No.
Okay. 48. Okay. Fergie.
I would have said 47.
Fergie.
Fergie from
Fergie
Black
who?
Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed
Eyed Peas. Not the Princess Fergie.
From Black Eyed Peas.
From the Black Eyed
Fergie.
Peas.
Just a female?
Yeah, Fergie. Black Eyed Peas.
Where is the love?
53.
Okay.
No, probably like 45, 46-ish.
All right. 43.
43.
Okay. Now you can get on these
I
right.
already looked at the paper.
Reba McEntire.
I'm not
I
sure
looked at the
who that
paper.
is.
Reba McEntire.
She's a
Oh,
country
Reba
singer.
McEntire.
Yeah.
Okay,
Reba.
so she is 64.
Okay. She'll be 63 March 28th.
Ah,
Lady Gaga.
31.
Any guesses?
33.
She'll be 32 March 28th.
Well,
Y'all were
right
close.
there.
Y'all were close.
Eric Clapton.
Oh, that's old school.
Guitar.
57.
Any guesses?
64.
Ooh, he'll be 73 March the 30th.
73.
And Celine Dion.
Oh, I love her.
Titanic.
Yes. Because you love me. I so love her.
I can guess her
Yeah,
age.
because you love me.
56.
Did her husband pass?
Yeah, Renee
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
He'll be 50. She'll be 50 March 30th.
Okay.
And you have been kept up to date. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about March Madness and brackets that are madness. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionnetwork.com.
You said
We
it,
will be
didn't you?
right back.
That's wrong.
I was rolling with Duke, boy.
I told you.
we're back. That was I have no idea who that was, but that was nice, though, wasn't it?
You need to get your
They
music
were
right.
jamming, wasn't it? They were jamming. Well, you're right, please. Here we go. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411RadioNetwork.com. What's going on, Zanika? My cousin joined in on us with us. I appreciate you having us on. We're back. We got to get into this March sadness.
I want to call it March Sadness. It's a crapshoot.
It's a crap. Damn shoot.
Well, no, it's a crapshoot. You just don't know.
And nobody knows.
No.
Nobody knows. Here's what I'm going to do.
It's like playing the lotto.
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to issue out our brackets. You didn't play, did you? Did you?
No, I did print off and I filled out a bracket.
You did, but I didn't see. I don't see. I don't
That's
know.
mine, sir.
That's yours.
No.
Is it right there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Where's my other
that's
one?
yours. You wouldn't need your other one.
Yeah, I need my other one because this one's busted.
Well, no, you can't. No, you can't be. That's the one that's winning.
No, it's not winning.
That is the one that's winning.
Duke is out. I had Duke all the
No.
way.
That no,
But
you can't.
if
You
you
can't
still
be.
got the point lead, you still.
Yeah, you still winning. You can't
still
be sitting around.
winning.
Yeah, no.
Even though I'm the favorite now to win.
Yes, you are.
Is
Because
that
Villanova.
so?
Yes, because he picked Villanova.
He did, didn't he?
Yep. Okay, so we did brackets this year. We're gonna do them again.
My
next
bracket?
year. Yeah, your bracket
Oh,
is
he
right
needs his
there.
bracket.
Where?
She's got
Oh, that's
that one-
yours.
That's your bracket.
You made it seem like it was her bracket.
No, she took it from you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Tez's bracket, Dad's bracket, and Kevin's bracket.
Okay, Dad.
Yeah. So my bracket is busted. I'm not gonna do this no more.
Cedric, last place with 40 points.
You ain't doing that no more.
Wait a minute, is that how you really feel?
Yeah, you ain't doing that no more. So bracket talk is over with. Let's go somewhere else.
No, don't hate like that.
No, okay, so let's talk about the first upset of the tournament, which was Virginia and
Would there be?
UMBC.
Virginia.
Sure.
UMBC was the first upset.
Yes.
Well, no.
No, it was not.
First was upset. It was Marshall and Wichita State on the other side. It was Marshall and Wichita State, which was the first upset. Wichita State was supposed to beat that game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first upset.
Okay.
I figured, okay, I'm all right. I'm good. We're okay. But then Virginia, and I had Virginia going all the way. I had Virginia, actually, did I have Virginia winning? No, Daddy had Virginia winning. I had North Carolina winning. But Virginia, we figured, and how do you have a number 16 beat a number 1? I'm not sure.
They were beating the
Well, when I was doing the bracket, Virginia was to me the weakest number 1 of the tournament.
But they was number 1.
But they're the weakest.
Martez says this is the dumbest NCAA tournament. I'm with you.
Martez,
What's up?
His bracket must be busted.
Martez can't say nothing because I said, do your bracket, Martez. He said, yeah, I'm going to do my bracket. I said, and then he wants to start noise talking to me. I wasn't last. I wasn't behind Martez. Martez was behind me. So, yeah, and I got your bracket here. Can we zoom in on his? Or did I throw his away and kept mine?
No, you got his over there.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. You got UMBC. How does a number 16 beat? No, never in the history of the NCAA finals. NCAA 16 never in history has a 16 beat a number 1.
And they beat them soundly.
Sound.
It wasn't a close
No
game.
question.
It wasn't.
No question.
The game we need to start watching is Loyola Chicago.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one.
yeah.
Yes,
That's gonna be a good
but I'm sorry. Villanova's gonna have too much for him.
That's who I picked.
Villanova's just gonna have too much for him.
Now,
Villanova's just as strong because Loyola Chicago is beating play.
Now for them two to mean they have to mean a championship game, but they're not playing in the next game.
They're
playing Michigan.
Michigan, yeah, Michigan got too much for him too.
Michigan can play.
Michigan,
Yeah,
yeah,
Michigan can play.
Michigan got some
I
horses.
actually picked Michigan too.
Yeah,
It's
you.
in my top 4.
Okay, let's go ahead and do this real quick. Let's get this out the way.
Get what I
Let's
was.
get
You
this
bet
out.
not.
Let's get this out of the way.
Okay.
Shelly is winning. She's beating. She is number 1 on the list and
79 points.
79 points, and she has a chance to get 90.
95.
No, 95. No, she has a
Villanova,
chance to get
Michigan
95. Yeah, to get
in
95.
the top 4.
The
I have
Who's
Michigan
JB
going to
121?
One of the ladies at work. She's
Okay.
Julie. Yeah.
Hey, Julie.
There's two people,
Julie.
two girls. My thing is, the ones who don't know are always gonna be at the top.
Excuse me.
I think he's really on the
All right. Don't cross the
Bitch,
line.
gonna be riding with one of y'all. Y'all know.
Wait, Martez told me to throw this away too. That's for you.
In the trash, you know.
In the trash. Down the drain.
That's for you, fam.
The substitute.
There you go, the substitute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
See, he has a
That's
name
his
too.
name.
He was substitute, yeah. So, so congratulations. It's not over with yet
It's not over.
because if Villanova wins, then Lewis wins.
You don't have to win
No, he
twice.
still
You know what I'm
gotta
saying?
go
If
to the
Villanova
finals.
wins if Villanova wins the whole
The
thing,
final, yeah.
you win.
Now,
Championship.
if Villanova
Which they probably
loses against who do they play?
They play
Kansas.
Kansas.
That's a powerhouse.
Then Shelton
Shelly
takes the
pretty
crown.
much, she pretty much got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, she pretty much got it.
yeah.
But Villanova's gonna go through. What's up, Jay?
You know who was?
Jesse?
You know who could be closer if that doesn't happen? Let's say Villanova loses.
Mm-hmm.
You know who could? And let's say Villanova loses and Kansas wins.
Yes.
Guess who's second place?
Who? Julie?
Noah.
Is he really?
Yes. Noah would be second
Come on,
place.
nephew.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Noah would be second place.
Now
Noah
he has 42 points, but he can get up to 90.
Yes.
If Kansas
So
wins.
it's not over for him.
It's not over for him.
That's good.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because he was at the bottom.
No, he like I said.
Started at the bottom.
Now
he's
we're here. What's happening, Jesse?
Hey.
So let's look at the Final Four. Let's look at who's still left.
Loyola,
Chicago,
Michigan.
against Michigan. Let's start there first.
Okay.
Michigan has been beating the heck out of their teams.
Yes, they have.
I mean, they have been taken into the woods with them teams. Which I mean,
Take him to the woodshed.
yeah. It's like they've not lost. Their point total has been 5. The closest team has been within 5 points. So from 5 to 10, they've been killing folks.
Killing folks.
Yeah, they've been doing some. I'm like, wow, Michigan is strong,
Mm-hmm.
but Loyola brings a little bit something different for Michigan.
What's that?
You know, well, they bring I think the teams that Michigan have played, Loyola is kind of a little bit more scrappier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And when you deal with teams that are unpredictable on any given Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
so.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, and I would love to go. I would love to go for a underdog. I like the
That would
underdogs.
be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't know if it's gonna happen.
Why is that?
Because Michigan is.
That's
strong.
why you had a tournament.
I know Michigan.
Cinderella.
Yeah, we didn't think UMBCEE whatever the acronyms were. We didn't think they would win.
UMBC.
We didn't think the county would be anybody.
Right.
Only thing you use the county.
County.
Only thing you use the county for is going to jail.
Gotcha.
Boy, you did the quit.
County jail, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, and Martez is right. Loyola brings a lot of ball movement,
They do.
and then shooting is pretty on point too. So I mean, that's going to be a strong game. You go over to the other game, Villanova versus who are they playing? Villanova's playing Kansas.
Kansas.
Did you hear Stephen A. Smith recently about this tournament?
What did he say?
He said, with so many powerhouse programs knocked out on the NCAA tournament, there is less to look forward to in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8.
It is, and I agree because I'm looking at. So I'm skipping forward for a second, and I'm looking at. You know, we got the NBA draft coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the top players. There's only one senior coming out that is rated as a number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Only one senior.
Who's that?
I gotta go back to them.
You put him on the
Yeah,
spot.
You the bench
No,
warmer.
that's
You
cool.
supposed to
That's
know.
cool. I got it. Do you know the person's name?
No,
I
I
can say anybody. And you say, oh, okay.
don't. That's why I'm asking you because you're supposed to know.
Yeah, I got it right here. Oh, here we go, right here. Only person, he's a small forward from Boise State, Chandler Hutchinson.
Chandler Hutchins.
Yes, and he's only slotted to come out number 17. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 freshmen. 9 freshmen that are slotted to come to be drafted in the first round.
Wow.
Not the first 10 picks. You got 9 freshmen that are slotted to come out.
Martez said they bring ball movement and shooting.
Yeah, that's what we just said that.
So why do you agree with Stephen A. Smith's statement that with so many powerhouse teams out of it, it's nothing to look forward to?
Because having said that, the 9 freshmen that are coming out of for the draft, all on powerhouse teams: Arizona, Missouri, Duke, Texas, Michigan, Duke, Alabama, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Michigan State. These teams are not even in the finals. They're not even in the Final Four.
See, this is my thing. If you're a powerhouse team and you lose to a team that wasn't expected to go far, you weren't ready from Jump Street.
Well, but
if you're a powerhouse team, play powerhouse ball.
But don't we talk about on any given day?
True.
Okay, so then how does that mix? I mean, can you say this day was just not our day?
Virginia is the prime example.
That they just but aren't in Virginia.
They get blown out 73-55.
Yeah, that was bad though. That was bad. Had it been close, would we not?
You a number 1 seed.
Had it been close, would that have been a different conversation? Let's say you do Houston.
I think the tone been a little bit different.
Let's say you do a Houston, and it was a buzzer beater that beat you. You know, Michigan and Houston, and that one final play. Is that a better way of saying, okay, we're a powerhouse, we just couldn't get it done? Virginia didn't even start out getting it done.
They didn't.
That's crazy.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I think, to me, that's what make any sport exciting. This is, you can put the NBA and the NFL in the same conversation.
Yeah.
They're in the league for a reason. Even though they're not expected to win, they are athletes that are expected to compete. If you get blowed, well, it was expected you weren't going to win no way. But
but
there's a but to it.
Well, I think, having said that, I think baseball is a little different because baseball is more of a.
Baseball's full of parity to me.
Yeah, well, it's more of a. It's a team, but it's a team individual sport. It's not necessarily it's a team sport, but it's more of an individual sport, individual effort. I don't need my third baseman to be on point for me not to catch the ball. You know, I don't need my catcher who's in the dugout to be on his game for me not to hit the ball. You know, as a pitcher, I don't need to know my outfielder is out there eating on snacks while I'm pitching.
You're about to smell like
So you agree with Stephen A. Smith? I don't.
You don't? What do you?
I don't, because I think this is what makes up college basketball.
Me too.
It has to be unpredictable, exciting.
That's what I like.
That's what makes it fun.
One and done. That's what March Madness is. So my Duke is out. I love you, Coach K. Y'all did well. So who do we have left? We have Loyola. So it just gives you this.
That's why it's
opportunity
madness.
where it can the game can change just like that. That's what makes it exciting and what makes it fun. And me not care about a busted bracket.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So why can't the NFL do that?
Well, no.
Well, I'm very honest. I would like to say
football.
that
Yeah.
my bracket is so intact, but I posted it a long time ago that my
bracket is done.
It's just done.
It was just way
One
done.
and done, huh?
It was way done.
Martez got a comment.
Yeah, Martez says it comes down to coaching and getting these young kids ready to play. The powerhouse teams always have superior athleticism, but they don't always have superior shooting or superior execution. They rely completely on their athletic ability, and they have a completed lack of respect for any team that can't match it. And I agree with that. What he's really talking about is, we talked about that this Saturday. He's talking about teams that are not powerhouses. They have to rely on the fundamental game,
Right.
and the fundamentals of shooting. The fundamentals is what gets you there. The athleticism is there, but UMBC was just fundamental. They played fundamental basketball.
So sound.
And that's what got them past Virginia, even though Virginia was a powerhouse.
Right.
So you're starting to see, and I said this too, is if you look at the WNBA, girls, women's basketball, they play fundamental basketball. You know you're not going to get out there and do a run and gun, 5-slam jam, and slam on every play in WNBA.
Right.
No, it's fundamental basketball. They do a lot of passing. They do a lot of. Let me see if I can create a shot. You know, they do a lot of that right there. In NCAA, in these powerhouses that you talk about, they just run and gun. They just, let me throw it up and see who can catch it. You know, and sometimes it works if you're scared. If you're not scared, you can run out. You can do all that all day long, but you're not going to beat me. UMBC, SS.
But looking at the schedule too, on how they play over these weekends, you know, it's little recovery time though.
Yeah, that's the other thing you look at. You play on a Thursday, you off Friday, you play on a Saturday. Yeah, now you got to get ready for that because that's NBA.
Right.
That is NBA all day long. And if you can't get that little small dose of that, you're going to get killed coming to the NBA. But the other thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, I was going back to what Stephen A. was thinking. I was thinking about back in the 90s, you had your powerhouse teams, but there was always that one team. I think it was Loyola Marymount.
Loyola Marymount, yep.
Who would have known? That was a Cinderella team.
Yep.
I mean, that Cinderella's going to always be there, no matter how you slice it.
Even Seton Hall.
Well,
Seton Hall was a Cinderella team before you knew Seton Hall.
Well, that's true because to me now I look at it as a name brand.
It's a name brand, but before Seton Hall was just a little podunk town over here.
UNLV,
UNLV was one of them.
Was not really on the map until Larry Johnson.
Grandma, that's it.
Yeah.
And then now they're not even on the map no more. I mean, they make it to the tournament. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see. I would truly love to see some HBCUs get in there and dig their way in strong, not just be a sacrificial lamb. Because I think they just put them on as a sacrificial lamb and they put them on with the best team and they get killed. You know, and I think the reason why you're not going to see those HBCUs is basically based on what Martez says. You're talking about some athletic kids that are going to HBCU that are not necessarily getting fundamentals. Going up against a powerhouse that's as same athletic as you are, has the same athletic ability as you are, but has those fundamentals. Right. They have the coaching in place, they have the weight rooms in place, they have all the things that you need as a basketball player in place that the HBCUs do not have. And so you'll never get a team if they work on their fundamentals and still be athletic. Then I think HBCU can be just as good as any other the other teams. But they got to mentally think, I need to go work on my fundamentals. I need to get
work ethic.
Yeah, my work. That's the other thing is work ethic.
Yes.
You know, when the band is out, instead of practicing, we watching the band. You see that move? Look at the head. Hey, pop the head.
And then I look at these teams that were small now that might be name brand. Xavier
was a small. Yeah.
Well, it's a small school, but you constantly see them in the tournament advance as far as the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Gonzaga,
yeah.
They're now on the map,
and they've been on that. And notice this right here: the teams that are in this the 64s. Look at what their football program is. Let's take a Duke. Duke's football program is trash. But their basketball team is just on point.
Right.
You know, so some of these teams in here, you wouldn't see their football program as good as their basketball program.
That's true.
Right.
You know, because
versa.
Yeah, the school is going to concentrate on one or the other.
Right.
We're going to spend money on one or the other. Can't spend on both unless you're just as good. Like North Carolina, you got both. You know, it's more basketball than it's football. I mean, but their football team, they're not.
Bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Right.
Michigan State the same way. Michigan the same way. But now
K-State was in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Their football program was really excellent one time, and then when Michael Beasley was playing ball, that program kind of came up.
And now it's like,
Now both of the programs are kind of
right now. Do you see a Villanova? If I'm in football, I would love them on my schedule.
Right.
If I'm in football, if I'm playing football, I'm scheduling them.
I mean, I'm looking at all these teams. I'm up wondering what team on here has a really good football program.
Ohio State.
Ohio State's on here.
Yes.
I see them. Okay, that Florida State.
Florida State, Ohio
Michigan.
State.
Yep.
Michigan, somewhat.
Houston.
University of Houston was okay this year.
Okay, where's Lipscomb?
I don't know where Lipscomb is at.
Where's Lipscomb?
Radford. I don't know.
Don't forget.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oklahoma.
Don't ever forget.
TCU is on here. They're a pretty good football.
Tennessee
is a name brand
Peyton
football.
Manning.
Yes.
Name brand pro. Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, yeah.
They don't have a name
Michael
brand
Crabtree.
football program.
Crabtree? Who? Texas Tech? Crabtree.
Alabama.
Yeah, shoot. Andy Dawson?
Andy Dalton was TCU.
No, he went to Texas Tech.
No.
Did he? Oh, to
He went to
TCU.
TCU.
Where's TCU at? They're not on there.
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes, yeah.
He
Texas Tech.
just left Texas Tech.
Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Florida.
Florida's on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Purdue had the Boilermakers got an okay.
Hey,
Is Alabama on here?
Yeah, Alabama is on here.
They Alabama make the
Texas
tournament?
A&M?
No, they didn't make
No,
the
they
tournament.
didn't make the
No.
tournament. Mm-mm.
Texas is on here.
Texas, that's
But they're-
definitely name brand, but they're
They're
not,
name brand now.
they're not playing
They
good ball
suck.
right now.
They suck. They really, really suck.
So the
That's for
final
you, Martez.
Marshall. Yeah, Marshall. That's Randy Moss.
Chad Pennington,
Randy Moss.
yeah,
Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich, yeah,
Ah,
yeah. You right. So there's several schools in there
schools
with
are-
their football program.
Alabama, it did make the tournament.
Look at
They
AD.
did.
Look at
They
AD
did.
getting in the conversation. What's up, AD?
AD, TCU did not make the tournament.
Yeah, I see
He's
Alabama.
just
Okay.
saying
And
ones that have good football programs,
and
right?
TCU has some issues right now.
No, let's not get into that.
What's up, small world?
Small world.
Small
on here.
world.
We just throwing out names. We just be naming
AD said SMU.
SMU.
Actually, they didn't even make the tournament.
No, they didn't make the tournament in their
They
pro.
did, I think, last year, but they didn't.
They was
A
no.
year before
SMU I think was under a sanction or something like that.
They are.
They are now.
Yeah,
They are.
they had last year. They had a good program, a good basketball.
Larry
program.
Brown was here.
Larry Brown,
He hadn't been there.
That's where Cole Beasley came from.
Yeah,
True.
Cole Beasley came from SMU.
Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
came from SMU, and another wide receiver that the Cowboys could be drafting this year.
He's from SMU?
Courtney. Yeah, Courtney. I forget his last name, but he's a receiver.
I know who you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have our own SMU alumni up here.
Who?
Louis Medford.
Oh my God. We're talking about athletes.
AD said stand up and recognize.
All right.
What's up, AD?
Yes, I did go to SMU
He did.
after I left
Snoop.
South Oak Cliff High School.
He went from S to an S.
And said you still don't understand how that happened, but it's possible.
School of crime to shaking my undies.
Oh my goodness.
I'm leaving him alone. He over there tripping.
Time,
But
son.
I got the time right here. Okay.
we good.
Yeah, we
Good
good.
on time.
So,
Yeah, we good, right?
so the Final Four, what you feeling right now? This is Loyola, Chicago,
Versus-
Michigan, Villanova, and Kansas.
Yeah, so let's start down with the doctor. Loyola
Doctor.
Chicago versus Michigan.
You know some.
but you know what? That's my area, so I'm going to go with Loyola.
Oh, she's
You
going
going
with
with
the
the Cinderella
upset.
team.
I am, yes.
Upset.
You heard it here first.
All right,
Heard
coming
that
down,
first,
Lewis.
Okay.
Mr. Mefford.
Well, Michigan can play some ball, man. It's hard to deny them.
Don't bet against
I
me.
think Michigan gonna pull it out. And
She said, "Don't bet against me." Boy, she'll go in that doctor's office and your tooth to be so far over to the other side.
man,
Hey.
I'll be hollering for days.
AD's still naming the game. You talking about Baylor.
Baylor.
Oh, no.
Baylor got some issues too. AD, Baylor got some
No.
issues too.
No, AD. No, not
Baylor got a
Baylor.
lot of issues. Although their helmets are sweet though.
They are.
That gold be shining, don't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
Yeah, because it takes your attention off what's really going on. That bling be hitting you. All right, what you have? Lower, you have Michigan, Lower
I
America?
got Michigan.
You got Michigan?
I'm going with my nephew. He likes Michigan. That's the college he's wanting to go to. So
Okay.
I'll go with Michigan.
All right.
Wolverines.
And I'm going to go Michigan.
Okay.
I was going to go.
So,
I was
am I the
gonna,
only one? I'm the only
you the
one.
lone wolf right now.
And
Okay.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, now we're going to Kansas.
And Villanova.
Rock, chalk, Jayhawk, KU.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh, you think she got to think about that? Let her think about that for a second.
Yeah, let me just think about Bill Self, the team. Yes, Rock, chalk, Jayhawk, KU.
Okay.
Martez says time for a reality check. Michigan by 10.
Ooh. Ooh.
You going
Ooh,
down. Who said that?
Martez.
Martez,
The
you are going
substitute.
down.
No
baby.
substitute.
Wait, I might change my pick. He said Michigan. I might change my pick.
Okay. She
All
going
right,
with
all right,
Kansas.
all right.
Yeah, 80 says he like Bailey's uniform. Also, Bailey's uniforms also. Bailey's.
Bailey's. That's a drink, AD.
Right. Wait, I like that uniform too. Man,
Bailey's Irish cream.
that's my cousin there. I like that uniform too. What do you
Can we
got?
get a commercial? No.
What do you got, Lewis?
Bill Self is known to, at times, I hate to say it, he's known as a choker.
I'm sorry, I'm
He would get far, and then when you think he got the ball running, he gets blasted by a team. I think this is one of the scenarios where Villanova is they're just going to
walk
clown
over
Kansas.
Just clown. Ooh.
And Villanova was the favorite from the gate
That
to win this tournament.
Well, that teeth ain't gonna look right. But you get back under the gun.
Villanova to me is the strongest number 1 seed in this tournament. That's why I picked them.
Uh-oh. He got to go with Villanova.
Over Kansas, who is also number 1, over Xavier and over Virginia.
Oh, everybody's over Virginia.
To me, they were the better number 1 out of all 3.
Number 16 over Virginia, so. And number 64 is over number 1.
Oh, okay.
Because UMBC was 64. That sounds like a UMBC. That's like a
It
team.
sounds like a-
No,
it sounds like a rap group or something.
that's
UTFO.
no, that's
UMBC,
NBC. Yeah.
It's a University.
Yamondo.
Oh,
Maryland.
yeah. It does sound like
Yeah,
In
that's-
Baltimore County.
call letters.
Yeah, that's the Hispanic NBC.
Oh my God. Shelley,
Tell 'em
Villanova,
who
or
to go.
Kansas.
I'm going to go with Villanova.
She going with the other blue and white.
Villanova. Yeah.
Cedric.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I don't want. You're gonna be a lone wolf again.
What's up,
I
Chambers?
really am. It's okay. I'm used to being that way.
You're gonna.
She'll be
That's,
alone again?
That's Xavier's, my oldest son's mom.
Okay.
What's up?
You're gonna be alone. You're the lone wolf on both picks.
I am.
And
But
there's
I
nothing wrong with
do
that.
it.
It's
Nothing
not
wrong
like
with
that. It's
that.
okay.
There's
I
nothing wrong
don't
with
think
that.
it's definitely
It's
okay.
going to
Trust
be
me, I'm walking
okay.
in all my glory. So
It's
when I
gonna
come
be
in next
okay.
Tuesday,
It's gonna be
She went with
okay.
Kansas and
Okay.
over Chicago
It's gonna be okay.
in the championship.
We will get you medicine. We
She
will
get
get
her own medicine. She
we will-
working at
oh yeah,
her
you
office.
can. Yeah, we'll get you. A home, and it's gonna be okay. It's okay to be different.
Oh my goodness.
so
It's-
I just can't
Just
wait
shush
to
it.
walk in here. I won't have no voice by next Tuesday because I'm gonna be screaming, yelling, hollering. Oh wait a minute.
It's not that you're underprivileged. You're just different.
Oh
And
my
I love-
goodness.
wait a minute.
No, you did.
What does my shirt says for today?
Be kind.
Be kind and rewind.
Be bold.
Be you.
Be kind. Be bold. And be you. And that's exactly what she's doing.
And it's
I
okay.
like it.
No regrets. No
I
apologies.
like it.
It's not that you're strange. You're
Time out.
different.
I like that. Time out.
All right.
Time to go.
Because we get ready to go back and forth.
Yeah. We get ready
Even
to get out
on
of
the
here.
deep end.
Time out.
We get ready to go on a
Don't
break.
you get started.
We're getting ready to go on a break right now. When we come back, we're coming back. We may finish up. We'll wrap up the March Madness. Give us your final thoughts on March Madness when we come back. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411RadioNetwork.com. We will be right back.
What's wrong?
Right back.
why she on that.
You almost got put right here.
Wait, look, you probably should have been right here. Y'all should,
Did y'all have any problems?
All right. We are back with 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionnetwork.com. No, we did not have any problems inviting people at all.
Good.
We are all good in the neighborhood. My cousin AD talking about if he picks the Final Four champ, can I come to your show? Yes, you can. You have to pick all four of them.
Who?
My AD says if he picks the Final Four champ, can he comes on the show?
Oh, yeah.
AD, you can come on the show. I just want to see
Anytime.
all 64 picked right. So that means that, and you can come on the show anytime. So pick the Final Four next year. Pick all 64 that's going to get into the tournament, and then pick the Final Four AD you in all day long.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, you take my spot. If you pick that, no, AD, if you pick the Final Four, yes, you can come on the show. Even if you don't, you can still come on the show.
Yeah.
All right, so some final thoughts I have with March Madness. What aside from Loyola, what was your some of your biggest moments watching the NCAA? Some big moments. I remember one moment I was watching Texas Tech. I was at my dad's house watching Texas Tech, and I forget who they were playing. Let's go back here. Texas Tech they were playing Florida, and the guy threw the ball up in the air, and their center guy I forget his name, but he jumped in the air. It looked like he was just jumping in the air to get the just to catch the rebound. Mm-hmm. But while he's in the air, he does he jumps in the air. You know you can jump to do a 360. He jumps in the air. He jumps straight up. He wants to turn his whole body around doing a 360 and slams it. Me and my dad was like, "Did you see that?" I had to replay that thing 3 or 4 times. Or the Wichita State game where Marshall was winning and Wichita, they had like you got like maybe 30 seconds left in the game, but that 30 seconds took almost like 10 minutes because they kept going over replay. I'm like, the whole world knows that and it was about a tip ball, wasn't it? Because it didn't look like he tipped the ball, and if you looked at it, he didn't tip the ball, but they gave it gave it back over to Marshall, but they looked at the replay like 800 times, and then the next time it went down, more replays, and the next time it went down, more replays. That 30 seconds took like 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Those are my reflections of.
My biggest moment in this tournament to me was one of the Final Four participants, now Loyola Chicago, the buzzer beater against Miami.
Oh yeah.
In the first game, that buzzer beater got them
where they are now. Yes.
One of the more exciting moments of the tournament was that buzzer beater. and he barely got that shot off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like what, half, 10th of a second or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe that. But that was pretty
The
exciting.
Houston game was good. Houston, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
I mean, can you imagine being a Houston fan, and you know you got this game won. This is done deal. You're like, yeah. You all the whole. It reminded me of, and I said this this Saturday. It reminded me of New Orleans and Minnesota.
They thought they had it in the
We
bag.
got this game won, and the defender from New Orleans just dove down. Why did he dive? All he had to do was catch it. All he had to hit him. I mean, all he had to do was hit him or push him out of bounds or something like that. That's game.
That's game. That's ball game.
That's ball game. That was Houston, Michigan. Is where, I mean, that one buzzer beater.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Those were some exciting moments. You know, this tournament has had a lot of overtime. You got any moments you want to?
I just had a disappointment.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I wanted Duke to go just a little bit further.
Either it's going to be Duke or Oklahoma.
Well, because,
Right.
Well, you know what? I didn't even consider Oklahoma for basketball.
I was
look
surprised
at them, I like
about
them.
that.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
You didn't-
I'm more of a Sooner football fan.
Then
And
basketball.
I watch basketball, but for basketball, I like Duke. I've always liked Duke. I've always liked St. John's. So, you know, I don't know where St. John's
Look at
is
you.
on the thing. But anyway.
Duke, St. John, y'all just surprising me and everything.
Shush it.
Duke and Kansas
Shush
went
it
into
and let me
overtime
finish.
before they finally let up. on
Well, I
Kansas
know.
State.
Yeah.
I know. That's what was so
Later on.
disappointed. It was
Yeah.
we didn't get to watch the whole game, but you know, I was thinking, I was like, okay, we were watching what was the game that was on before that?
Michigan.
So we watched that game. You know, they won. I was like, okay, Duke, come on, Duke.
Mhm.
And then something happened, and I can't remember. We didn't get a chance to watch it, and so we were driving, and I said, let me check this score. And I looked at the score, and I just was like, my whole demeanor was just.
I know it.
I was like, wait a minute, this must be from last year. This can't be this year.
That wasn't your demeanor. We was driving home, right? And it was quiet. You know, we listened to the music and everything, so it was just quiet and everything. I'm just driving, you know. And I heard, oh, dang!
It was not like that.
Who died? What happened?
She saw the end of her bracket right there. That's
I
what it
was
was.
like,
She was sitting on the phone like this right here.
oh, man.
And I thought something happened. She was on the phone like, I thought,
He's
what?
so dramatic. He
What?
likes to embellish. It was not that dramatic.
Duke lost.
I was like, oh, my goodness.
When I heard Duke lost, I promise you, it ain't gonna be, I'm not trying to be mean, but when I heard Duke lost, I was like,
He was happy. Because his bracket busted long time
Yeah,
ago. I was teasing him the whole
the
time.
whole mindset was like, oh yeah, I can drive now. Yeah.
So mean. He is
Get
so
that
mean.
gangster link now.
I'm going to tell he's abusive to me.
Gotta be nice.
I'm kidding.
I was nicely gangster leaning. Yeah.
He had a little smirk on his face.
You didn't see that, did you?
I did see it. I saw it. I turned my head the other way, you know.
It was just so funny. I was like,
Kept with kindness.
I started to get mad at you, but no, I can't get mad at you. You lost.
I was so hurt. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, and Martez, you might get revoked.
Yeah, he did say that.
He says
I
OU
have to
in
be
all
an OU.
sports.
I'm not saying I don't like OU for basketball. I'm saying they're not my top.
You might want to go to the meeting because they might want to.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Martez. We're not that good in basketball, so I got to go
pull
with the
your
good
card or
team.
something.
Even when Redhead was on the basketball team.
Who read it?
Um,
I'm telling you, I have not really been ever an
Went to
OU
Detroit.
basketball fan.
Oh,
he left the
Oh,
Clippers, went to Detroit.
I have always liked Duke since
Oh,
my
number
son.
32.
Yeah,
Since my son
Blake
was in
Griffin.
7th
Blake Griffin,
grade.
yeah.
That wasn't that good when he was with the Sooners. Blake Griffin.
Yes, but
It
I
was
wasn't
aight.
really paying attention.
Okay.
It was
Duke was it because I liked St. John's when I was younger, and then I started liking Duke, and I think I told you guys this when my son was in 7th grade, and they sent him like a letter of welcome. He was in 7th grade. He was in the Gifted and Talented program. And I was like, oh, my baby going to Duke. Let me go and check them out.
they have
And it was ever since then. So, I mean, he was in 7th grade.
Yes,
How old
players
was
came
that?
out there.
Yeah.
Grant Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody hates
Oh my goodness, Grant Hill, Bobby
Bobby
Hurley,
Hurley,
Christian
Wow.
Laettner.
Christian Lake. Everybody hates Lake.
There was another
that's
Hill.
him. Christian was the woo.
There was a
Remember we watched that? What was it?
Everybody hates 30 for 30. Have you seen that before? Everybody hates Christian Lake. Oh, you gotta see that.
You got to watch it. It was good.
That 30 for 30 was
That
good.
boy was crazy.
Yeah. Some of your exciting moments.
Oh gosh, I had so many. Let me look at the bracket.
We only got 3 minutes. We only got 3 minutes. So
You only got one. I'm gonna take.
He gonna try to
2
time
minutes and
somebody.
58. I know, right?
All people trying to
Because
time.
I'm getting them.
timing them.
He don't want 3 strikes.
Right. He don't want 3 strikes.
No, I don't know.
You're out.
I don't have any big highlight moments, but I do like a few of the upsets that happened along the way. I graduated from Wichita State. I was not expecting them to
Oh,
be out.
I am so
as
sorry.
early. Woo shockers, yeah. So
They were shocked too, weren't they?
Yes, but that program really got turned around with Mark Turgeon. So it was so I was disappointed in some areas, but I always enjoy it. So I take the good with the bad.
You mentioned the Shockers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was going through my mind thinking, and everybody just chime in.
No.
What mascot are you actually scared of? The reason why I ask that is because UMBC are retrievers. That mascot is a retriever. Are we afraid of a retriever?
Well, you gotta be scared of the mascot.
No, because you know that a bear. Are you scared of a bear? Yeah. A lion. You scared of a lion, aren't you?
A blue devil. A devil.
A red devil. Yeah, devil screaming. Yeah. You know. So shocker. That could be electric, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You scared of a tar heel?
Time out.
Time out. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Tar heel. All right. So we'll be right back. When we come back, we're gonna get into the entertainment hour. This is the hour of power, the time of shine. This is
Who
where.
run the world? Girls.
Oh goodness.
Here we go.
Play my song.
We're skipping that
I'm
short.
telling you, when we come into entertainment, I want that song played.
Well, I gotta go find it first. I
Yeah,
can't
I
find
know.
it.
See, I tried to get him to. He won't play it. He won't play it. I'll sing it myself. Come on, Tawana.
Come on, I got your back up,
Who
folks.
run the world, girls? Who
We'll be
run the
right
world,
back.
girls?
When we come back, we get into the hour of power, the time to shine, the entertainment with security. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 4RadioNetwork.com. We will be right back.
That's wrong.
Man, I don't even understand how they didn't understand who in that.
What is this?
Yeah, I
Keep
know.
that old robotic, futuristic George Jetson.
That is not a good song to come into entertainment with. I don't want to hear that. That don't get me ready for entertainment.
Just like a piece of sizzling, your fingers on my stomach with the exit.
What 80s are
King is what I mean.
He said, really?
My man get a cup and bring change inside you.
Oh, yeah. It's not always around.
Let's make this
We don't see them once a
Get
year. And I grew up with Dr. Jones. Went on play Chicago.
no more you want to just time and I make that walk get out more harder than a
I know who's there.
and if you didn't know who's right, I guess I'm gonna say Craig Mack with
On 35 years.
This is for
I guess I'm gonna get into it.
I know who it is. Joking.
I'm on it, so I took the center for the first time I could get off. I remember when the first my only side effect was the center prison is the rock house. Rock house on live. It's a rock house, like water can't get rid of it. Don't well. I know I went to the hospital because I was getting my one day and he was doing something and I kept doing it like, ow. And my head felt like, you know how you got 30 seconds in and the leg is numb because you stopped the blood for that time. And so I went to Walgreens and set my blood pressure on 197 over 143. And so I drove myself to the hospital. And so I got to the hospital, the doctor was like, wheelchair right now. And I felt fine, but it's not fine.
All right. That was Craig Mack. See, I know that right there.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was Craig Mack with, rest in peace, Craig Mack with the new flavor in the year, brand new flavor in the year.
His death shocking. I didn't know he was sick, man.
And that young, too.
Yeah.
That young. Now it's time for the hour of power, the time to shine, the time we look for every time. That didn't work right there. The time was fine. Anyway. This is the entertainment hour with security.
Is it an hour?
See, she gets applause.
Okay, so yesterday in our meeting,
speaking to the mic, I can hear you.
oh, excuse me. Yesterday in our meeting, Benchwarmer declared that at the top of the hour we're gonna have to do a ticker. Anybody know what a ticker is? We talked about this yesterday.
At the bottom
Just
of
little
the screen.
tidbits of information that's out there, trends or whatever that's going to
Highlights.
So here's my highlights.
There you
Okay?
go. You've been listening.
She gets no
Here's my
applause
little
for that.
tidbits that I'm not going to go into detail about it. If you want to know more information,
man.
Google it.
I heard
So there's
something.
a hashtag out there called Who Bit Beyonce?
Oh,
Who
oh,
Bit Beyonce?
oh man, I read that
They
shit.
finally, they think it's annihilation.
No, don't tell
Your
me that.
girlfriend.
Don't tell me
Yo,
that.
baby. Yo, flame. Yo, what you call it?
Oh,
It's not like the big
God.
Beyonce.
On the
No,
face
it's
back
not
in December.
confirmed.
It's
It's
not confirmed.
not
There was only
confirmed.
2 people left.
It's not
2 people
confirmed.
left that was in the vicinity.
Who the other 2
So
people?
who bit Beyonce? Google it and
So-
you'll
so
find
now
out.
Latham went on Twitter. She said, "Y'all are really funny." But if I really want to bite, it'd been a love bite. But sorry, it wasn't me.
Oh, so it must be Franco.
Mike Tyson.
Oh my God.
Nah, he
Okay,
went
so
to
this
the
was supposed to be a tidbit.
Okay,
so
okay.
let me move on to the next
All right.
thing.
I knew she was gonna. That's the first thing she said. All of them like, please
Who
don't say
bit Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Just do the hashtag Who Bit Beyonce and just look at all the stuff that's happening. So Who Bit Beyonce?
Tiffany got
That's the big
it
thing.
better. She the one who
Tiffany Haddish
I know.
is the one that put it out there
It-
with her crazy self. So I like her.
First one,
She's funny.
First one smelled the Delta.
Oh my God, she probably she.
Sanaa
You never
didn't do
know.
it. Sanaa didn't do
he
it. I was
gon-
gonna
he
say
gon-
Sanaa did not
he
bite
gon' put up for
Beyonce.
her.
Right.
What
Yeah.
for? She got no reason. Let's keep moving.
She want that brand new flavor in there.
The next little tidbit out there, which is sad, they finally got the results back from Prince's autopsy report,
I miss you.
and
Okay.
he had exceedingly high levels of fentanyl.
Ooh, wow.
Fentanyl, excuse me. Let me get it right. Fentanyl, which is another form of opioids. What they call it? Opioids.
Opiate.
Yeah.
So, he had
So
to-
the painkillers, you know,
Wow.
a lot of celebrities
Scale
overdose
too.
on those things.
He was doped
and
up, huh?
Yeah, he
Wow.
pretty much. I mean, you out riding the bike at what time was it? 1, 2 o'clock in the morning
Right.
at the
For
grocery
no reason
store
at all, yeah.
in the parking lot. You just riding the bike around. What? You on
You on
something?
something,
He
yeah.
had 67.8.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
And you got to think about his size.
He was in a lot of pain.
Mhm.
I mean, come on. He's wearing these 5-inch heels, jumping around on stage, doing the splits. What man do splits?
But see, that is still
That could hurt.
scheduled to drug. That is
Well, they were talking about it on the news this morning about trying to prevent people. You can get the
Recipes.
same results of killing your pain with acetaminophen, ibuprofen in high levels without it being addictive.
right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So that was sad.
This
sad
will blow
news.
my mind here.
Um,
That drug is 50 times more powerful than heroin.
50 to 100.
Yes!
Ooh.
And
I
it's
didn't
legal.
realize that.
And it's legal.
Wow.
It's accepted medically,
Yes.
but it also
It's prescription. It's prescribed.
Yep.
But it needs to be a certain strength. And these celebrities
Exactly.
are purchasing it at high levels and in large quantities.
See, the onset is just like that.
It's immediately addictive. That's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. Okay, so the next tidbit, we got that. And you'll be so happy to know. You've been asking for this.
But Janet Jackson come to the house?
Queen Sugar.
Oh, it's back on?
It will be back on
Yes.
May 29th. And
Yes.
it will premiere with a 2-night special.
Ooh, you gotta watch Queen Sugar. Have you
We
seen Queen Sugar
love us
before?
some
I have
Queen
not.
Sugar. Oh my
Oh, you
goodness.
gotta see some Queen
Queen
Sugar.
Sugar is bad.
Member said we're gonna.
Girl,
have to
you
see
better
that.
Netflix and chill with it. You better go get it. Hook it up. You better watch everything. Is it on Hulu?
Well, you can't Netflix
Well, you
and
can't
chill
go,
with that,
excuse me.
cause
Hulu. You can Netflix and chill.
No, because you won't be watching that. You'll be chilling.
You can chill after you watch it. But anyway, so this is one of
Inside
his favorite
conversation.
shows, and he has been asking about it. So I saw it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm not
Queen
even going
Sugar's
to tell him that
That's
I'm going to
good,
bring
yes.
it up.
Yes.
So yes, your show will be back on May 29th. Put it on your calendar.
2 days after my
2
birthday.
days after your birthday, your show will be back.
Rolling.
Okay, and it's a 2-night special,
All
so
right.
you'll be good to go. So let's see, and that is it for the tidbits.
All right.
Did I do 3 minutes? How many minutes did I do?
You did
an
Did I
awesome
do good?
job.
You did good, yes.
Yay! Even with the conversation.
Yes, you did
All right,
good.
I'm trying to keep up with the time because I don't want nobody telling me time out.
Keep it rolling.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Okay, so entertainment news. About 6 days ago. 6-7 days ago.
You gotta hit it. You gotta hit
Get
it.
it. I can hear it. I can hear it. I just, them headphones is making my ears itch.
Okay.
So I just take them off.
I just got
It's
this song
pushing my
playing.
earrings.
He played a sound bite. You just decided to take off your earphones right when he played it.
No, I've been having
It's
them
been
off.
off.
Oh,
I
okay.
had them off a long
But
time.
you hear him now, huh?
I can hear them from there.
But
It's in
you-
the speakers.
No, what you got?
Okay, so
Okay.
Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gin and Juice.
Snoop D to the
Uh-huh.
double dog.
Laid Back
Uh-huh.
has a gospel album.
What?
Look at him like, what?
A gospel album came out about 6 days ago. You could go out to Apple Music or any other place like that, and you could actually listen to the album. Now, I went out to listen to it because I was like, I got to hear this, Snoop Dogg. And let me give you a little background with Snoop Dogg. My dad says that he is a distant cousin. My great-grandmother is sisters with his grandmother. And they were in a family of 13 siblings from my great-great-grandmother. So he is a distant, very distant cousin. And I actually contacted his mother's assistant or whatever one time, and we were trying to communicate so we could find out for sure. And then I just let it drop or whatever. And my dad takes his grandmother around. She's still in Oklahoma, which is weird. But anyway, so we're supposedly related. So that's background with that. But anyway, so he came out with this gospel album. I'm thinking it's going to be about 10 songs or whatever. 31 songs.
Oh, wow.
31 songs, and it has artists like Patti LaBelle, Charlie Wilson, the Clark sisters, John P. Keefe, Fred Hammond.
Wilson.
Tone, which he has changed his name. I can't remember what he changed it to. Ty Tribbett, Molly Music. It's a whole bunch of artists.
Faith
And
Evans.
the Faith Evans. And so what he does on this album, I've been listening to it most of the day. Some of the songs had to really grow on me, but some of them are really good. And he's more producing the album than he is being the artist on the album.
Okay.
So you get to listen to a multitude of different artists. Marvin Sapp is on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he has old school gospel. Like, what was the name of that song? Saved is on there. Yes, yes. And
I have to listen.
yeah, it's actually.
And he raps a little bit on that too.
Yeah, he raps on some of the
I love
songs,
it.
but I tell you for the most part. And so I posed the question to my family. You know, I'm always polling my family. We got this thing called Marco Polo. So I polled the family, and my family is a bunch of holy rollers. I'm just telling the truth. And
Amen.
so, look, everybody's like, well, Snoop Dogg is always in it for the money. And, you know, we don't want to be judgmental because everybody can be saved, you know. But my thing was this. He grew up in the church. And if we're Christians and we're devout Christians, we know that if you're trained up in the church and you go astray, you can come back. It's not like you can't revert back to what you learned and what you were taught. So when I heard that he was doing the gospel album, Mr. Man over here was like, no, not Snoop. What you say?
Well, because
Tell me what you say. He was like, I can't believe it. It's not.
Because I can't hear. I mean, it's hard for me to
He's
hear.
a gangster. He can't be doing gospel.
Yeah, it's hard
Yes,
for
he
me.
can.
Well, I'm just hard.
It's everybody's
It's hard for me
process,
to go back to okay. You spending 2 days ago, you out smoking bongs and whatever, singing gospel music. Or saying,
But it's a process, and we don't
but
know his heart.
I always look at
Only God knows his heart.
You know how people always
But are
say,
we?
That's
but-
very
but-
true.
I know.
And that's my thing was, I was like, you know what? I can't judge him and by what he's going through to get him to this
Well,
point.
let me tell you
Because
where.
only God knows his heart.
Let
And
me tell
only
you where I
God
got
can
you.
judge him. We can't.
Let me tell you where I got to. as we started having that conversation, I was thinking everything, and I'm like, man, no, I'm not gonna Snoop Dogg. You talking about just sipping on gin and juice and all right there? And I got to thinking.
We're talking about wine. Jesus turned water to wine.
The pastors and the deacons and the deaconess are sipping on that too.
I've been in Jordan's room when we was doing it.
Listen.
No, but I got thinking. You know what? Peter was it Peter or Paul?
It was Paul.
It was Paul.
Paul was Saul.
Saul was hard nosed about,
and he was persecuting Christians.
So as I thought about that, I kind of swayed a little bit. I kind of changed my mind a little bit. I had to go to that point where
and a lot of people probably did that. And let's see,
it's the messenger.
And AD is a pastor, and he said you can't swing on both sides of the fence, and that's not being judgmental. And I understand that part, but I'm saying we can't judge him. Only God can judge him. We don't know his heart.
No, but you know what he's saying though.
But
how do we know he's swinging on both sides?
Because
we don't know if he's swinging on both sides though.
Because you don't know it. What he puts in the public is how you know. Because in the public, if you're in the public doing carnal, doing singing singing those type of songs and rapping those type of lyrics and going back with NWA and doing that in the public on one side, and the next day, you're doing gospel.
Right. This is what my brother brought up.
I can understand that they had issues with Michelle from Destiny Child singing gospel and then going back and doing the final album.
I was getting ready to say.
They had problems with Tasha Lockhart. No, not Tasha Leonard. With the song with Nicki Minaj. And I think the church really need to just kind of step back and help be more
loving. You need to be more loving
and teaching along the way instead of condemning, because that's why people don't want to come to the church.
Well, no, it's not a condemn.
Can I get my point?
But see, here's the thing. When you are in this church now, and minister here too, but when you have all this separation of this is holier thou and we have this image, people that's coming in feel like they're really hopeless. And you still have to be accountable.
Gotta dress a certain way,
gotta
talk a certain way.
Because there's people that are spiritually dead.
Yes.
You expect them to
preach,
do things that are spiritually dead characteristics.
Preach, honey, preach.
Spiritual infants, they're gonna do those
babies.
things. I don't expect Snoop Dogg to get everything right at this point because I consider him a spiritual infant. He's not a spiritual parent.
Here's the difference, though.
He's not on the meat. He's on the milk.
I get what you're saying.
Come on,
let me get this out before, because I'm gonna pick it back on what she said and matches what I'm about to read. Then you make a comment. Snoop Dogg shared that his decision to create the project stemmed from a desire to bring more light to the world in the midst of constant turbulence and negative energy. Quote unquote, what he said, with all of the negativity happening in the world right now, I figured it was time to do something positive to bring people together.
Exactly.
Then he said something powerful. I did my share of bringing dark moments. Now it's time to bring the light.
Okay, I get the point. I'm not. But let me say, I'm not. But let me say this right here. No, I'm not. But let me say this right here. I understand that. I totally get it. But have you ever seen Have you ever seen an infant, a baby, drinking milk, ministering the word? You got to learn it. Let me finish. Because here's the deal, though. If from one hand I am going to bring the light, I got that covered. I understand that. We're going to bring all these people together, have this gospel album together, and we're going to do this. I'm going to rap on the gospel album. We're going to do all this right here, right, on one hand. And then I got my little project over here on the other hand, because I'm going to put that out there, too. And my project is not necessarily a God-filled project. It's my own project. I'm going to do my own thing. I got to make my own album. I got to make my own money. So I'm going to do that project. You know, that's God is not saying by any means necessary.
Who is his spiritual mentor?
No. What I'm saying is right here.
Who is his spiritual mentor? That's very key.
Well, I don't know who his spiritual mentor is.
I mean, because to hear Marvin Sapp on this,
and that's
Marvin Sapp is hard to crack.
Hello, and he's on the album.
So let me ask you a question.
John P. Key.
I love
John P. Key too.
What did we
He was in prison before too.
See, the likes of at Marvin Sapp, hello, love him.
So
he goes straight biblical. So even still, we don't know what.
What's up, bro, man?
So what if? Let me ask you a question.
Because he needs a mentor.
And you're right. And what if he does his project? Great project. Everybody's going to get it, right?
Over the time.
Okay. Then he goes back and does his own. Does all I'm saying is, if you're going to be a light, if you're going to take on that's lovely. That's great. That's good. I'm saying this right here. You have to make that decision to say, this is what I'm going to do.
Sir,
This time.
that is not the real world that we live in, because we are descendants of Adam and Eve. We are flawed beings.
Mm-hmm.
So oh Jesus, fix it. I have made mistakes along. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Let me
Please,
tone it
come
down.
on,
I'm
come on,
sorry.
go for it.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But to continue to judge and put them in the same category for once they come is injustice.
It is.
And we do that to each other all the time.
And this is why people revert back.
But somebody needs to see something tangible.
Yes.
Like the Bible is still being written. Now we have the Holy Bible that is our guide, you know. But the Bible of the Benchwarmer is still being written, because it's still showing your life story. Oh. What are you leaving behind? You didn't get it. You didn't get it. You didn't get it right. You didn't get it right every time. Neither did I.
Nobody gets it
right.
right.
We're still not getting it right.
So
Nobody's
Snoop Dogg is not going to get it right either.
Right.
I got you covered.
Thank you.
Time out.
I love it.
Let's go.
I love it. Okay, so the next segment, I'm not gonna be able to get to.
We'll give you some leeway.
Okay, thank you very much. Give me a little bit. Okay, so the next part of entertainment before we get to the he say, she say is another one of Benchwarmer's favorite shows. There's two of them. Mm-hmm. So we watched the pilot of 911. Did you guys watch that show? Oh my God, it was amazing. Did you see the finale?
Yes.
Did you expect that?
I did not.
The dinner?
I did not expect it.
Oh my goodness. You missed it. He fell asleep.
Oh, you have to.
You got to go back and
see
it.
it.
I'm not going to tell you what happened, but just the very last. I mean, I'm telling you the very last.
Okay, don't spill it.
You got to see it. I'm not going to spoil it for him. I'm going to let him watch it tonight.
I was really shocked myself.
I wasn't. I was not shocked. I was not shocked because of the progression of the show that night. Yeah. I was like, when he went to dinner,
and I knew
it.
He was like, when he was doing girl.
Oh, I did watch it. I did see that part.
You saw the first part.
No, I saw the last of it. I saw the last of it. I saw who walked in.
We're not going to tell people.
Yeah.
Okay, so 911, if you haven't seen the finale, watch the finale. You know, because that whole season was excellent. So that drama ends, and Empire is back tomorrow.
Yes.
Ooh, wait, do you remember how it ended?
I let Empire chop off. So
well, you need to get back into it, girl, because Lucius got kidnapped again. So Lucius got kidnapped, so we about to see Cookie go off to get her man back. Oh, and from the previews, Andre is finally going to tell Lucius that he's the one that set off the bomb in the car. From the last season finale.
Yeah.
So that started back up. So it's real quick to just let y'all know. Make sure you watch Empire, and if you haven't watched 911, go back and Netflix it, and go on about your business. What you doing?
I can't.
I'm so done with you. Anyway, AD's still on talking about the other thing. So, hey Tyrone, hey Jerome, nice to see y'all. Okay, so now we get to the juicy part.
All right, AD, this is yours right here.
The he say, she say question. Come on, AD, listen closely. Brother man, you've already had, you bring your take to it. So, someone said that this is not a personal question. Someone said that anyone that has been married 3 or more times is damaged goods and something is wrong with them. Do you agree or disagree, and why? Tawana, take it away. That's the question.
Okay, good.
You last. No, professor's last. But give somebody some time.
Well, speaking of not personal experience, but I have a relative that is on her 3rd marriage.
She's in it.
She's on her 3rd marriage, and she's a beautiful person inside and out. She's a great mom. She has 2 kids. I would not consider her damaged good. I wouldn't consider anybody else damaged good. However,
you need to learn when to stop.
Here's this caveat.
the caveat is that she rushed into marriage for the wrong reason. You can just see those things not lasting. The first one was maybe 15 months.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wow.
So, this kind of was an annulment, but it was quicker to do a divorce than go through the paperwork and the investigation of an annulment. The second one, there should have been some marriage counseling because, of course, then she still wasn't ready to get married, but then there was a baby that was on the way.
How quick after the first one?
Oh,
How quick after the first one ended?
years. Yeah, it was still maybe 3 or 4 years. It still wasn't.
Wow, still fresh.
I didn't believe she gave each marriage the opportunity after the marriage to heal and understand who she is and what she brings to the table.
Right.
Wow.
So.
And so the third one is,
This third
did she
marriage,
rush into it?
This third marriage, the second marriage really broke her.
Ooh.
So that's where it comes in.
That
Do you think that she
second-
might have been, you said she didn't have time to heal, so is she damaged goods when she goes into the third marriage?
Don't use the word damaged as damaged the way you're thinking.
No,
Well, she's
I'm
broken.
thinking, yeah,
Her
we're
spirit's
all, but see,
broken.
we all are broken. Everybody, even after 21 years of marriage, we were together a total of 23. I wouldn't consider myself as a damaged good, that I don't bring value. I just think that going into marriage, people need to understand that is a relationship
Baggage.
with each other, and you have to understand the face of it, that they come with all the their childhood unresolved childhood issues, like she did. Who helped them influence their decision, their faith? Did they have any faith? What did they do when they had issues? Did you go out and drink? Did you go out and shop? Did you have unhealthy?
Go out and cheat.
Yes. And he may have enjoyed drinking and smoking weed. She liked to go out and shop. So they had justifications for what they did on each side that just tore away at the marriage. And he told her, if you say one more time, you're going to leave or something like that. He was just like, he was going to be gone. So he had already had it in his mind.
That he was out.
He was already out. He was just waiting for an opportunity and just didn't know how, because they had a young son that was still in the picture. So I don't know. It's so hard, but I think people can't live for a wedding, but the marriage is something totally different. It's a lot of hard work.
Right.
It is. So AD says, and AD is a pastor, and he says that, no, I do not disagree. However, when you leave God out, you have a tendency to make mistakes instead of allowing God to prepare you. And then he comes back and says, you become damaged goods is when you have not come to any type of restitution from the past relationship and you got excess baggage. And so my thought was this.
Break your sister. Come on with
My
it.
thought was this, that it depends on the person, and it depends on how they got to that third marriage or whatever, 3 or more, because you could have widows, you could have, in my case, because I'm not on my third marriage, I'm on my second marriage, but I had a relationship that did not result in marriage before I got married the first time. So you can say that there are 3 relationships there that were 2 relationships that were broken before I got to the third one. So in my damaged goods, the first one, I was a teen mom. I wasn't in love with the guy. It wasn't like that. In my first marriage, I was married for several years. It just didn't work out, and then here I am on my second marriage. So does it make me have damaged goods? I came with baggage, but I don't think I'm damaged goods. And I don't think that I have, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
per se. And same thing with Mr. Lyons. He was in a broken marriage as well and had previous relationships. That doesn't make him damaged or something wrong with him. So it just, to me, it depends on the person. It depends on what they went through. You know, now if you've gone through a lot of abuse and things like that, it could be, you could be considered damaged because if you didn't get healing. It's like even before I got into my marriage with him, I was divorced for 10 years. You know, so I had time to recuperate and, you know, figure out if I wanted to do it again. And, you know, we went for premarital counseling and all that other stuff. So,
well, you know, interesting, but me being my role that was in the church, because I was headed off to seminary school, I had to work my way out of the marriage. Like, I mean, the divorce, like, really had to. Like, there were some things that I had to be, you know, really open and honest. And biblically, I could have gotten out the marriage a long time ago. But I still had to go through this radical forgiveness of myself and of him.
wow.
And so until I went through these things here, those things there that, you know, which was a good biblical program, I feel like, I got the healing that I need. So I still am able to pray for him. I was able to pray for him and wish him well, nothing but health and wealth, before the papers were actually even signed.
Wow. That's awesome.
I
Benchwarmer?
think we we have to look at the state of where damaged goods, because you can be damaged goods before you get to the first marriage.
That's
Oh,
true.
yes.
That's
Because
Absolutely.
what you need to do is number one. I've always said this: if you can look in the mirror at yourself, be truthful for who you are, see all the spots that are on you. Not saying look in the mirror and try to fix yourself, because you can't fix yourself, but be honest with who you are. You know, be truthful with who you are. Then you get with your spouse and you're truthful in front of your spouse with who you are. And your spouse sees who you are, and she receives you, and she's truthful with who she is. Then that's not damaged goods. That just means we all need to go to the hospital. And so everybody can go to the hospital together, and we can all get healed together. But if you walk into a marriage and act like those spots don't exist, that's damaged goods. And regardless if it's first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, fourth marriage, if it's first marriage, okay. I didn't know. Most times, you know, we talk about first marriages, we talk about married young. As a kid, you know, when you're young,
That's true.
and you don't know, you don't know
what you're getting into.
My dad used to say,
Even though you said them vows.
well, my dad used to say, you don't know shit from Shinola.
You really
don't. Because you just get good, you know, y'all hunky dory. Next thing you know, what? You always sleep that way? No, I can't do that. We don't know when you're young. You don't know what the cutoff points are. You don't know where the boundary is. You know, and if you set boundaries as you're young, you can still be okay and live through being young and then grow up, and then you guys grow together. The moment you go through a relationship, then that relationship is going to rub off on you. There are things within that relationship that rubs off on you, be it good, bad, or ugly. You know,
And we were actually talking to our son the other night about some stuff.
You don't know the good, the bad, or the ugly, because what's bad in that relationship might be good in another relationship.
Right.
But because you have not understood those dynamics within that relationship and you wind up getting divorced, guess what? You're going to take that with you. And the bad that you saw in that relationship, you're not going to do it in this relationship. And this relationship is where you might need to do with it. But you won't ever put that out there because you don't allow yourself to look at everything on a total basis. You're looking in the previous marriage's glasses. And when you look in the previous marriage's glasses, then that's what you're going to see in this marriage. You know, so if you don't ever wipe those glasses off, then you're going to see in this marriage. Once you go to, and this talks about the third, being married 3 or more times.
3 or more, right.
If you Liza Minnelli, you damage goods.
Not Liza
not now,
Elizabeth Taylor and Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah, Elizabeth Taylor, them damaged goods right there. Because
I think that's so hard.
Well, I mean, but
it is, but
you go through
what
this
in
right
the world?
You ain't got it right yet. Because you
7, 8 times.
Yeah, married divorce.
I don't believe you should be licensed. I don't think you should be able to get married that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
There needs to be we need to put a law and license in place to limit. Yeah. That's almost like you can't have 20 kids. You got to stop. Child support is gonna stop doing you with that. No, baby, you need to cut yours off right now. After 18, cut it off.
Mercy.
Burn them.
Matter of fact,
Throw them in the ocean.
Matter of fact, the doctor who delivered the 18th, if he don't, he need to be put in jail.
Exactly.
No, but
That's a good idea,
But
though.
you know,
You need to
sometimes
live with that.
we only look at the fruit of things and not the root. We have to get to the root cause
Exactly.
of those
Yes.
behaviors. And then to look at, just examine ourselves, ask ourselves these hard questions, because at the end of the day, every relationship, whether it's a marriage or not, you're the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
Try and extract something. Stop being the starring role and the victim and this,
Exactly.
the Academy Award and all this stuff.
The
And
Academy Award.
be real with yourself for a minute and say, you know what, really, I could have done this a lot better.
The other thing.
Because it takes two. It's not
It
just one
takes
person
two.
that's causing. And that's why I told my kids when they got older, they asked, and I told them. And and when they start to say certain things, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I played my part too. I had a part in this, and this is how it went. And maybe there are some levels of functionality in the marriage that didn't work because of certain things. Maybe someone had more than the other, but I still played a part. It could have been 90-10. It could have been 70-30. But whatever it was, I still had a part to play in it. So I could have stayed and tried to work it out, but I didn't. And that there was also, it was till death do you part. It's supposed to be good, bad, ugly. Till death do us part, for better or worse. In sickness and in health. And there's all levels of sickness. It doesn't have to just be a physical illness. It could be an addiction or something. So.
Yeah, I take my medicine all the time.
Yes, he does.
Oh, but to the whole dynamic again, we're gonna leave it.
Yeah,
up
we're
to
gonna
you.
let Lewis get in because we only got a few minutes.
Yeah. So do I agree? I agree only based off the circumstance that they came in, because you're right. You could have been a widow.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
I tend to take those that got married young and decided, okay, this is not what I want. Those are kind of the smart ones. They got married young at 2021 and said, you know what, this is just not what I really want. They got out of it early. A month or two later, we got to go because I'm not going to damage myself. I'm not going to damage you. We're still friends after we continue to move forward. Then I take those that got married, get divorced, got married, get divorced. That damage was way before you got married. See, what we don't realize is that your damaged goods can come before you get married, and what you never do is deal with those damaged goods while you're married. So what you do is you have those damaged goods, you bring them to the table, you want the spouse to deal with those damaged goods, then they don't want to deal with it, so y'all try to work it out, you bring those damaged goods back, you bring it to the next relationship. It's still the same damaged goods. But now what you've done is you pour on whatever that spouse was sprinkling on your damage, you pour it onto this other one. So now the damaged good is bigger. And the bigger it gets, the harder it is to chop down to find out what the root cause is. Because I was once told that an argument or a relationship or a fight is never those big things. It's like a firecracker. Or like no, 4th of July. Your 4th of July, you got this boom, and you got all those sparkles up in the air and everything. Those sparkles and the beauty that's up there, those might be issues you're dealing with. The problem is, you sit there and try to deal with all those issues. Let me pop that, but you don't ever deal with that boom that made it boom. So this gonna always come. It's gonna always come up. So you take that into another relationship, you're gonna boom again, and we got the same thing. We got the same thing. You got the same thing. So.
In case we have callers.
No, it'll light up. So.
Remember if you call me.
Yeah.
Well, your cousin said that he should have been on the show, so I told him if you want to call in, call in. Number is, and we never do say the number, 469-249-2411. So if you want to call in and get on a discussion, you can call in. We got about 15 more minutes. So, Professor?
On this subject.
On this segment.
Yes, yes.
I don't think he was finished, though.
Were you finished?
I just forgot my whole thought pattern.
That's okay. Finished.
Damaged goods.
Oh.
So,
I got to that. Well, let me read the audience comments
Go
before
ahead.
you get started.
Together.
You're so crazy. AD says that we should be fruitful and multiply. He should have been on the show. And
We should be fruitful. I should be on the show. We should multiply. I should be on the show.
I think I read that one already. You become damaged goods is when you have not come to any type of restitution from the past relationship. So anyway, yeah.
But he said amen. You didn't say he said amen.
Amen. He said amen.
Rakia Johnson, good outlook for him. Welcome for joining.
Thank you all for joining in. And like I said, if you want to call in, the number is 469-249-2411. 2411.
And what do we do that for? Because somebody's calling in.
Somebody's calling. It's probably AD.
It's probably.
Well, let me let Professor get his.
No. The guests are always first.
Okay.
You treat them like consumers and customers.
Right.
They are first. If I don't get
Y'all
out,
excuse the bench warmer.
All right, we got you on now. Who we talking to?
Hello.
Hello.
Caller, you're on.
Hey, this is AD.
What's happening?
Hey, AD. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing this is AD Coach. Kim Coach to Shelley and Frederick. Enjoying the show.
Thank you for tuning in.
The conversation is very well. Just a little clarity. I didn't mean to insult anyone when I was talking about baggage luggage or excess luggage. It's just something that some people, like Kendrick brought out, we fail to be honest with ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
And then we fail to be honest who we are involved with.
That's what your cousin said.
Before you get involved with anyone, first of all, you got to be honest with yourself and to God.
Mm-hmm.
That God can straighten out things in your life. I share with people all the time, until you become honest with yourself, and you're talking about first, second, third marriage. Yes, I'm in my third marriage, but go back into my first marriage, I was too much into myself.
Mm-hmm.
That I
Selfishness.
wasn't giving into the marriage like I should have. Now, the only beautiful blessing that came out of that was my children. So, when you talk about marriage, like say you brought out, you could branch off into many parts of life, but you got to narrow it down to one individual, and that's who's involved with the other person.
Right.
So, and I know it can be a very long segment here, but when you talk about spirituality, and I don't mean to go back to where y'all left from, but you cannot dip and dab in everything and still say you're a child of God.
Ooh.
You have
That's
to
true.
make a decision.
You can't be lukewarm. You're right.
Everything you're going to follow.
You can't be lukewarm. We do. Yeah, you're right about that. Well, all we were saying was that we don't know his heart. You know, is he lukewarm or is he not? We don't know that. Only God will know that.
I'm not married down to one individual. I'm just talking about in general here.
Yeah, gotcha.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you was to saw me in the pulpit this morning, praising God, but then you saw me in the nightclub with another sister that I was not married to.
Ooh, wait. You just gonna take it way over there, huh?
And it happens.
It
That
does
thing
happen.
happens all the time, and it's not a
No.
justification.
But you ruin your witness.
Answer my
Yes,
question.
you do.
you mess up your
Ask
witness.
the question.
This morning,
You
and in the nightclub
absolutely.
tonight, how would you think of me?
Yeah, you wouldn't be.
Yeah, your witness would be messed up.
Yeah, and your next preaching
Your
service,
testimony
you
would
would
be received well.
your congregation would be short.
And understand something, my brothers and sisters. We are not perfect.
No,
Right.
We're
not by any
for
means.
perfection here.
Right.
But yet, it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
That's why you
Daily.
need to have a spiritual parent walking with you. So when we see someone that is just converted from being spiritually dead to someone that's an infant to young adult, they need that help along the way. Though.
Mm-hmm.
They need it.
Right.
They really do.
Right.
But a lot of times the black church fell in that area. We fell in that area. We don't talk a lot about salvation. We talk about the right hand, the fellowship. We talk about getting involved in ministry. When at a spiritual infant, you're not ready for ministry. You're a doorkeeper and you didn't had a bad day, and then you're not ushering in the people well. No, you need to have a spiritual parent along the way with you. That's all I'm saying. I don't believe in 1 foot in the world, 1 foot out. However, I know to bring both feet walking in this road that's less traveled towards God. There is a process, and you do need someone along the way in that process. I was blessed to have someone, and I was blessed to have some people that come up under me. Now that had me to reveal some mistakes along the way, so that they don't think that this process or this relationship is going to be always easy. No, I had to tell them, there was days that I was crying. There's days where I was hurt. There's a lot of stuff that happened to me along the way. But my relationship, the intimacy that I have with God, I would never trade it for anything in the world. This is what it's going to be like. My phone is never turned off because I have cancer people that's calling me that's in terrible marriages. I have regular lay girlfriends that call me that have some best girlfriends that have some issues. People need you in 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to pray with them along the way. So I know that they're in an infancy stage and that they're going to do something crazy, but I'm going to be right there and say, no way. Here's what Scripture says.
All right. We just heard from 401 Baptist Church.
Right.
Yes. Basically, we are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started out by saying, out of my first marriage, I was too much into myself.
Selfishness will kill a marriage, for real.
I'm just being honest.
Yes, it will.
I was too much into myself that I didn't see what God had before me.
And AD is a pastor.
And thankful that I had a spiritual father who was a pastor, a spiritual mother, and other spiritual family members that was able to help me to get back where I needed to be.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AD. You want to stay on and listen to the professor give his take?
No.
All right, come on, Professor. Come on.
Professor. You got the floor now.
You got the floor. We always let Professor go last because he gives us the most poignant.
We're going to stay on time, so that's one reason why I wrote it down so I can stay structured in this.
All right.
He hung up.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm not sure if I'm an individual that can answer this question because I had never been married 3 or more times. I'm in my second marriage. I first got married in 2003 when I was just a measly 26 years old. Was not saved at the time. I got saved in the middle of the marriage, and when I did get saved, the marriage got worse.
It happens that way.
And I ended up filing for divorce because the other partner wasn't willing to be up there with me from a Christian standpoint.
So he was unequally yoked at that time.
And then I was abused by her. So I left that alone in my second marriage, and I've had no problems in going on 6 years now. So I want to make a point. I was not saved when I first got married. I couldn't see anything until I did get saved. When I did get saved, I saw everything.
Your eyes were open.
See, clearly now the rain was gone.
So I did write down some points here that would come out of my thoughts as y'all was talking. I got 3 minutes. People who keep God in the center of the home and family will find themselves being in the marriage a lot longer despite the storm. 2, when this happens, when a spouse puts Jesus in the middle, the spouse put fewer expectations upon the other spouse to meet emotional needs that only God can fix. And 3, the lessening of unrealistic expectation gives marriages stronger foundations to stand on when difficult times come.
I agree.
So my point is, when it comes to that question, we got another call.
We got another caller.
I'm gonna stop. The customer comes first.
All right, you're on the air.
Hello, you're on the air.
No, just say I'm sorry. My phone had stopped on me.
Man, it's called put that thing on the charger.
Stop butt calling us.
AD, your phone is damaged goods.
Welcome back, Pastor.
What's up?
AD phone done been married 5 times.
I am related to you.
He is related, the engineer.
I'm saying your phone.
have technical difficulties. It just runs in the family, huh?
All right, go ahead.
So I know we got less than a minute. So Sheila's saying someone said anyone married 3 or more times is damaged goods and something's wrong with them. Do you agree or disagree, and why? I wouldn't say it's something wrong with them. I would more so, for me, something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And with that being said, I think part of that missing is where's Christ at in your life as it relates to what this brother on the phone said in terms of finding yourself, know who you are, and know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
I
then
don't know that.
the dating part is important to me, because if you're a saved individual, and I'm just only talking to saved folks, and you're dating and you're going through this struggle, my thing is, do you see Jesus in the other person?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you have no business being with them in the first place.
Right.
So I'm going to cut off there because I know we got to get ready to go to break, and we might touch on it later on.
We'll touch on it later on. This is 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionetwork.com. That was a great topic. That was a great topic.
Thank you.
That was a really good topic.
I'm trying, y'all, but I need some suggestions if you got them.
Gotcha. AD,
I'm trying to come up with some good questions.
AD, you have an open invitation for next week.
No, you don't. We got guests
Do
next
we?
week. Yes.
Who?
You just confirmed it.
Oh. Okay, no, you don't.
Too many folks.
See how you do it, sir.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
He meant we
You
got
come the following week, yes.
I might be out of town, but we're checking.
You see how you do his family?
See?
You see how you do his family?
We'll get you on here one of these days. We will.
I'm really excited about what you all doing. I'll be a much better for you all with this. I like the round table discussion that you all have. Need more of it.
Thank you.
All right, if we get ready to
support.
We get ready to go to break, and when we come back, we got to get into health.
Yes, the doctor.
We got to get healthy, right?
Mm-hmm. Doctor.
So I need to finish this drink first.
That's why I'm going to leave you all.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot, AD.
All right, you
Please
need to listen in, AD.
All right.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back on 411 Sports Talk Radio. All right.
All right.
Let's roll. I like this health segment.
Oh, yay.
They're putting me on blast.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Yeah, we are back. 41 Sports Talk Radio on 41RadioNetwork.com. Last night they took an L, but they had to bounce back. Last night got the L, but they took an L on.
Well, every time I hear that song, the first person I think about is Dak Prescott. I don't know why.
He took an L, but he had to bounce back, right?
He gonna have to bounce back.
He better bounce back this season. Last season I took an L, but I gotta bounce back.
All right.
Oh boy.
Help
All right,
time.
this is Help Time with the doctor. Got the doctor in the house.
She
Yes.
deserves an applause.
Yes, she does.
Thank you. Welcome
All
back.
right.
So, sad news over the weekend. You know, we lost actress Deshaun Monique Brown.
Oh yeah, I posted that.
Possible cardiac arrest. Now, the autopsy results haven't been completed to confirm it.
Wow.
But she did go to the hospital reporting chest pain. She drove herself to it to die later that
Wow.
day. So, there was a question that was posed because the terms heart attack and cardiac arrest are kind of interchangeably used, and they're two different things, two different problems that's happening within the heart. So simply put, cardiac arrest is basically an electrical malfunction within the heart that causes it to stop beating. Over 350,000 people experience this every year, so it's very serious. You know, whatever caused the rhythm of the heart to come out of sync, it will cause the heart to stop. Now, you can survive a cardiac arrest, but someone has to be there to perform CPR. And we talked about a little bit about doing some things about CPR, because 70% of these cardiac arrest cases happen in front of non-professional people.
So if you have a cardiac arrest, you do CPR. So now, once you do CPR, do you still have to go get more treatment or find out what caused it?
You still have to. You're just artificially pumping blood throughout the body until medical professionals arrive on the scene to administer other medications to help get the rhythm of the heart back.
Now,
Heart attack.
Before you go, what could cause cardiac arrest? What are some of the
The
symptoms?
electrical malfunctions. Now, a heart attack can cause cardiac arrest.
Oh.
Wow.
So,
Yes,
Okay.
a heart attack can cause it, because a heart attack, now remember, cardiac arrest is an electrical malfunction of the heart, right? So a heart attack is basically where you have a plumbing problem, a flow problem.
That's when
Blockage.
plaque is blocking
Yes,
your
and
arteries.
you're not, that part of the heart dies because there's no oxygenated rich blood going through that part of the heart. So the body compensates in a way where, okay, it still can get around it, but that blockage over time can get bigger and cause,
So let's just drink some
Oh,
Can
Lemon
you
Palmer.
clear the blockage?
yes, you still have to have medical procedures to see where exactly, like an angioplasty, kind of go in there and see, balloon everything up and see exactly where the blockage is, how you're able to bypass that area so that the heart can still be able to function.
So the blockage can't be cleared up naturally. It has to be a medical procedure.
Yes, yes. You have
So you can't just flush it out with water and other stuff.
But
I can't just drink liquid plumber and let it roll, right?
no, you can't do that.
Crazy.
But you still, now we use this a lot as, well, Big Mama had this and Big Mama had that.
Kill peptide or something like
But
that.
we are generationally keeping these bad, unhealthy habits as well that we pass on along the way. Low fruit and vegetable intake. We're not exercising like we need to. The heart is a muscle that needs to be worked. So diet, exercise plays a huge part. A huge part.
So what I think I just heard is that because we've done so much damage to our bodies, that what Big Mama used to use ain't gonna work no more, because our bodies are so much, we're not doing the same thing that they did when it was working.
See,
Already
back in the
damaged.
day, I'm gonna tell you this. Back in the day, my grandmother and my Uncle Coffee. Well, I'm supposed to say that. Don't kill me, Uncle.
Uncle Coffee.
Uncle Coffee.
Yes.
Let him finish.
So
I like that.
listen, let me tell you, he will walk literally everywhere He didn't want a car. He didn't care about a car. He walked everywhere. The most in shape man that I know. And my grandmother was the exact same way.
Did they live a long time?
No, what killed my grandmother was cancer, unfortunately. Was cancer.
What about Coffee?
Coffee, he's still going strong.
How old is he?
He's still strong. Let me see, my mom is 70. He's 67.
Tell him to put some cream and sugar in here.
Boy, you need to stop.
So
My goodness.
So real quick, can you go over the definitions again between cardiac arrest and heart attack? Go over that again.
So when we're talking about a heart attack, we're talking about a circulation problem. Where there is not enough oxygenated rich blood that is flowing through the heart. So a heart attack can cause cardiac arrest. But you can also have cardiac arrest that can happen because cardiac arrest is an electrical malfunction of the heart that causes it to stop beating.
Can cardiac arrest cause a heart attack?
No, cardiac arrest, it just stops.
Okay.
The rhythm of the heart just totally stops. But we know that heart attacks can cause it because the flow of the heart, the blood flow through the heart is not in this natural rhythmic flow because there's some blockage, and the heart for so many years are trying to compensate for it and get around it. So that's why a lot of times you may hear somebody say a double bypass, which is not, it's good that you can have it, but when you think about double, triple, and quadruple, that is not good because that means you have that much blockage within the heart. And you have to take these things so seriously because you can take a pill. I'm tired of being in the fight. I want to be in the prevention because there is no care at Congress out there that's going to really care enough. And Black people are dying all the time. My subject matter is about high blood pressure and how to prevent you from taking the pills. But again, high blood pressure is a silent killer. If you came in my office and I took your blood pressure, if there's new guidelines as well. It's not just the stage 2 hypertension is 140/90. So stage 1 now is 130/80.
Wow.
So they are able to catch it. So the American Heart Association, the American College of Cardiologists, and it was about 9 other people that changed the guidelines so that by the time people came, there wasn't this explosive kind of heart, because either it can lead to, of course, cardiac arrest or sudden death or strokes, but high blood pressure is really nothing really to
What are some of the symptoms of high blood pressure? What can cause those?
see, and that's the thing.
She said it's a silent
That
killer.
is you can feel
It's like
fine.
stress.
I had a patient that came in my office. Now, he is not in the best of shape. He was, but it is still, when you think about, we're getting ready to inject you with something that has epinephrine in it. That causes your heart to race. We can kill you.
Wow.
You can die. And you have to take that seriously. So that's why we take your blood pressure. We're not trying to know all the time, why y'all up in my business? Well, you know what? Really, because we don't want you to die. We have a responsibility as well. So before we're doing certain things, we have to know what your blood pressure is. And if you're diabetic, oh yeah, we need to take that too. We need to know, because if something happened, we are responsible for you when you're in that chair. So we have to excuse you. We have to sometimes have people, if it's well over the 140/90, we call your doctor right then and there and ask, what do you want us to do? Do we need to drive him or her there? Or what is the next move? Because you can stroke out along the way to the hospital. You never know what's going to happen.
At 140/90?
It can be 140/90. That is stage 2 at this point. You never know what can happen.
Wow.
So you don't want to be liable for it.
Right.
You don't want to be liable. So you have two numbers again, systolic and diastolic. The top number, systolic, that's where you want the number. If you can get it between 120 over 80, that's a good range. Now, any extreme is not good. So if it's too high, it's not good. If it's too low, it's not good. Not enough pressure will cause the heart just to not stop. And see, that's what happened in cases like, is it Gerald Levert? But when you take, especially a lot of those Schedule II drugs, it slows your respiratory rate down. It slows your blood pressure down as well.
Wow.
And so you take it like this, it just stops.
Wow.
It just stops.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, what do you do for natural for high blood pressure?
But I want people to understand. Listen, when you go to your doctor, if you don't have annual physicals, I want you to schedule those at your birth month. Every year.
Yeah.
Get those checks. You need to be at your medical doctor at least once a year. But the biggest responsibility is you being your best advocate and knowing your body for yourself. So you have to. Now, your doctor can write a prescription. I know I'm on a time crunch here. And we can bookmark it because I don't want to rush through anything.
Yes, we can.
Right.
So, but let me just say this, that you can't, if you're already diagnosed with high blood pressure, what I do want you to know is that your doctor can write a prescription for you to get a monitor at home. You should take it every day before you get out of bed.
Your blood pressure?
Yes. And you should take it midday so you can know exactly what is the rhythm of your heart. What is the pressure? What is the health of your heart? So you can get those things that's paid, totally paid for, especially when there's a diagnosis. All they have to do is write a script for it. Insurance will pay for it.
I have an audience member who keeps texting me.
Yes.
Write your question on the page.
Yes.
Family.
Yes. Let's
Stop texting me.
Let's do this.
They want to know what kind of doctor Tawana is.
What kind of doctor?
Well, we came up with a doctor. This is still really a play name, but I have my master's in healthcare. I am a registered and licensed dental hygienist, undergrad from Wichita State University. I am a CPR instructor for the last 12 years, so I teach a lot about heart health and CPR, life-saving methods.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, let's do this right here. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got to shore up. We've got the answer to the question, OJ and Kaepernick, right?
Oh, we're going to go at it.
No.
Yeah. That's the first quarter. Then we go to 3 quarters after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we come back, we'll OJ versus Kaepernick. How does that?
I'll tell you when we come
answer
back.
the question. Okay. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionetwork.com. We will be right back.
Gotcha.
She
wrote it wrong.
Thank you so much.
Now it's looking at that. I'm like,
And she wrote it wrong. That's why I was like, she still got
so it's
time.
now 3:19.
So that's supposed to be the fourth
I
quarter
got
right
into
there.
describing actually what heart attack
Okay.
is.
So that's actually supposed to be the first quarter
as
right
well
here.
as
Gotcha.
the difference between heart attack and cardiac arrest. And that.
All right. We're back. I like this song. You, your daddy's son. This has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 4radionetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer, sitting here next to security, right next to Professor, right next to Doctor.
Yes.
Here we go. You, your daddy's son. All right, Lewis, let's go and roll through this.
4 quarters. This segment here for the next 6 minutes is on what we couldn't finish last week involving one Colin Kaepernick and what old Renthal James Simpson had to say about Kaepernick's movement.
Yeah, his movement, yeah.
So,
or lack thereof.
This is the rules of the game.
Okay.
Benchwarmer has 3 minutes and 30 seconds to answer the question I'm about to ask. Same thing with the doctor here. The doctor here will go first. If Cedric interrupts her at any given point, he gets 10 seconds docked from his ability to explain himself.
Love it. Love
Me
it.
too, because I'm the one that's always over talking. Yay!
That's the rules of the game. If you don't interrupt her, you get your full 3:30. If you interrupt even once, that's 10 seconds docked off your time when it's your
those
turn.
Little things.
Yeah, those are interruptions. So I'm going to go ahead and rehash what I said last week in my first quarter. And then when I tell you to go, I'm going to start this stopwatch, and I'll let you know when your time is up.
Dang it, okay.
OJ,
I don't even need all the time, but go ahead.
OJ Simpson.
Can I have her time if she don't need all the
Your
time?
cousin said you need
No,
Jesus.
no, if she don't use all her time, that's her. But I'm not going to give it to you, vice versa. No. OJ Simpson disagreed. See?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
So I'm talking, so not her.
Okay, it's no rebuttal either.
No, I didn't think about a rebuttal. But I'll
Okay.
just, because we got to finish.
Okay,
Because we didn't answer the question last week. Y'all got into a nice heated argument about this. So
yes.
let's go ahead and top it off.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
So, O.J. Simpson disagrees with the method Colin Kaepernick used in his national anthem protest by saying this, quote unquote, I think Colin made a mistake. I really appreciate what Kaepernick was trying to say. I thought he made a bad choice in attacking the flag. When Kaepernick did it the first time, I thought, well, you took a gamble and I give you credit. But it was him continuing to do it where he made the biggest mistake. I am a firm believer of doing what you think is right, but I will always stand for the flag. When I say go, doctor, you go. Ready, set, and before I say go, the question is, do you agree with OJ? Ready, set, go.
Second week, I absolutely do not agree with him. One and done never fixes anything. It becomes this lost cause, lost mission. I still think if they do not want to, if they want to kneel for the flag or don't come out of the locker room, that is totally fine. I'm totally against O.J. Simpson because it's a simple-minded solution to a bigger problem overall. So I believe that even still later in the conversation, I found out that Kaepernick didn't
Vote.
He didn't vote and gave an explanation. Did I get a chance to watch the video? No, I did not. However, I refuse to be distracted by that because I can still teach him, or somebody else needs to better inform him about what's a better approach to the solution of the problem, because it is a huge issue overall about the racism. So the flag is just, for me, still a distraction of the stain of the fabric in this country. That's it.
That's it. You have nothing else to say.
Nothing else.
You sure?
Until I finish.
I know, right?
You sure?
If I... Dang
You
it.
have 2 minutes.
Oh,
Because
wow.
once you off, you off.
Oh.
The light is off.
Have her
This
use
is
her
your
two.
time.
Have her use her 2 minutes if she wants to
For
rebuttal.
rebuttal.
Say.
Yeah, can I have a rebuttal?
Give her 2 minutes if she wants.
Now the question: do you want to give him an extra 2 minutes?
No. Give her time.
No, give Miss 3 minutes or give her 2 minutes to
You got
rebut.
2 minutes. Say anything you want to say.
What if she wants to rebut what I'm saying?
Do you agree with OJ?
Absolutely not. I don't agree with OJ and anybody else that thinks like OJ that a one and done solution is the answer. So these kids demonstrated this weekend about their strong voice about gun violence. We still need to have more conversations about it. We have a great group that's coming up. I believe a one and done never solves anything. We still have to look at a greater good of what's going on. Stephon Clark was gunned down.
Man.
And this is the start of what Kaepernick was standing kneeling for. Is that, I mean, a black guy is in his backyard. He went to the back because they couldn't hear him in the front. And then to be gunned down and say you don't know the difference between that. Did it take 22 rounds? Did it take 22 rounds? No, I don't agree. Maybe that Kaepernick did not do this, and the other, but I refuse to be distracted for the real meaning of what he kneeled for. OJ, listen, baby.
You got 45 seconds.
Baby, let me tell you something. Refrain until you can think more in depth about the solution overall for humanity, not for what something looks good or not looks good. We're looking for a greater cause towards humanity. And right now, black people are the leading cause of so many things. Health issue, gun violence, high divorce rate, single moms. No, it's time.
Go ahead, girl. Woo! Where the applause at?
I'll give it to you. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to let Benchwarmer get his thoughts together.
They're together. They stay together.
All right, let me set this clock.
Uh-oh.
The question is, do you agree with OJ? Ready, set, go.
I agree with OJ to a certain extent. I agree that anybody has the right to make the stance the way they want to make the stance. You know, if you choose to kneel, you kneel. If you whatever you choose to do, you choose to do it. I don't agree with stopping. I agree with continuing going. The issue that we have on the table is that when Kaepernick first kneeled, he kneeled because of police brutality. When he got up, got in front of the reporters are the ones who made him change where he was going and went to the national anthem. At that point, your message was ruined. You got off of your message, and the moment you got off your message, and everybody else started jumping on the message that you said, the flag, the national anthem. That's when the whole police brutality got out of the way. So the moment you stop it, and I think, I don't know if OJ was saying this, but I think this is what he was probably saying. You kneeled the first time, that's great. Consistently kneel for the same thing. Do not kneel because of the flag. Now, overall, people want to take that and say, well, it was because of this, it was because of that. It was because of, well, the flag represents mistreatment of the black people, and the flag does not represent mistreatment of the black people. People want to put other things on it so that where Kaepernick was kneeling made sense. And so now all the other players are kneeling and everybody else is kneeling because now they want to make it make sense. So we're going to say, hey, and the guy in the army who talked to Kaepernick said, this is what you do, and I agree with that. Kaepernick kneeled because of police brutality. The initial kneel was because of police brutality. The moment he stopped kneeling, then his whole message got lost. And that's what happens when you don't want to get the real message out there. What you do is you throw other messages in there so the real message gets lost. We still don't have the opportunity. We have not had the opportunity to go back and deal with the initial kneel of police brutality, go to other cities, because now it's not even just police brutality, it's still happening. And it's not happening just because, it's not just happening for black folks, it's happening all over. It's not just white folks against black folks, it's black folks against black folks.
Oh, absolutely.
Police brutality is not a racial issue. It is a legal issue that it's a systematic issue that we've got to get rid of. We've got to deal with that, but we're not doing that because guess what? What we say as black people, Black Lives Matter. So now it's only what's going on with us. But the guy in Fresno, California, who got shot, for nothing, for no reason at all. We don't say anything about him. He's okay. He's one. What would
40 seconds.
Okay, what would Malcolm X say? It's the roosters coming home to crow, something like that. Some mess like that he would say. I'm saying this right here. If we're Christians and we hold ourselves as Christians, we got to stop black and white. Because God did not die for black folks. He did not die for white folks. Jesus Christ was not on the cross saying, you know what, you Jew over there, come on, I'm going to die for you. Or you white over there, I'm going to come over there. No. He said, I'm dying for everybody. I'm living for everybody. I'm dying for everybody. But we want to be Christians and say, well, no, our lives matter. No, because what we want to do is get back to the real. Because the real is in early biblical days, it was black folks anyway. Mm-hmm. We the ones who taught each other how to put each other into slavery.
That's it. You can't say nothing else. You can't say nothing else.
I like that, Professor. I like that.
All right. You got that out the way.
All right.
What, shots fired?
Hey.
Oh, is that I got some shots. Listen, wait a minute. Woo! You know I was a sharpshooter in the military. I got some shots fired. I don't miss.
I was an ROTC.
All right. Three quarters.
Okay, let's get to the range then.
I shot the 1908 rifle.
Well, I shot an M16.
That bolt action.
I shot an M16. I can shoot a 9. I can shoot a 380. I can shoot anything that lock and load.
Time out.
Oh, okay.
In other words, don't fool with her. Don't even mess with them.
Guys
Don't try her.
Your hands can't see because you don't see me.
All right, let's go to second quarter.
All right, second quarter.
So,
wait, who won that one?
Let Sheila decide that.
Oh, man. You put me on the spot. I was supposed to decide, huh?
Yep.
I love you, Benchwarmer, but I'm going to go with Tawana.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Here's what it is.
Sorry, honey.
Second quarter. Melissa Weishaupt, a former Mavs employee, recently said that she believes that Mark Cuban knew about the sexual harassment going on within the organization involving Turdima Usred. Quote unquote, she said, he, being Mark Cuban, he can't say he had no idea what was going on because of his deep involvement with the franchise and everything on the business side. Well, sorry, it doesn't work that way. Mark Cuban owns 100% of the team. The buck stops with you. The question is, Benchwarmer, do you agree with Melissa?
I actually do.
Why?
Okay. I own a team. I buy a team. No. I buy a team.
Go ahead.
And there are issues before I even get there. Because Turdima Usred had these issues before Mark Cuban bought the team.
Right.
So all that information is put on the table right then and there. Hey, this guy's going through A, B, and C. Why did you continue to keep him on your team? Why didn't you fire him?
So you saying he swept it under the rug?
Swept it under the rug. That's number one. Number two is the reporter for DallasMavs.com. I forget his name. Not only are you domestic violence, we're gonna bring you back on. You got convicted. You had to serve jail time. You're gonna come back in the same capacity that you're in.
Mm-hmm. You
know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And he's like a Jerry Jones, jocks the socks. I'm gonna know about everything. And Cuban, we're in the locker room with Cuban. Sometimes we'll be in the locker room as a reporter. We're actually in the locker room. He's right there with us, just hanging out with the players and everything. Mm-hmm. So you can't say you didn't know. Exactly. And then when Turdima says, well, I went to the organization and they didn't want to do nothing. Well, I'm sorry, who's the organization? Mark Cuban, who's the CEO? You're the CEO, so you're next in line. Mm-hmm. So who's the organization that you went to? Mm-hmm. Did you go to Cuban and he said, don't worry about it?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm saying you have to know something.
Any comments?
You know what? I like to stir the fire with him a little bit, but you know what, Benchwarmer, I absolutely agree with you because I know.
We agree.
I know, right? We actually really agree on this one because there is no way Mark Cuban can say that he knew nothing. Right. He may not know all the details of everything, but he knows something. His face and the involvement. On the sidelines, what he's discussed, there's no way he did not know.
And you can't run Shark Tank and not know business.
Okay. You cannot. And you can't do that without knowing your people.
Exactly. You know who you brought on.
You know who you brought on.
That's your cousin.
And
You
just
gave him a
hoping
different
that
name.
things just kind of went away or just bad.
Shelley?
I agree with what they're saying. I'm saying the same
You
thing.
agree with Melissa?
It's not a way. Yeah, there's no way you run a business and not know your business.
Right.
And HR is an integral part of your business. And if there have been complaints made, they're going to be records. And you know, you go through the records when you come on board. You would be stupid not to.
Right.
You would be dumb not to go through and say, okay, give me everything, put it out on the table. I mean, just you got a new HR director. You know, you want to know all the information. You're a new owner. You want to know all the information about my team, good, bad, and ugly. So why wouldn't you know? You can't sit up there and say that. And you've also made a statement publicly that you know everything that goes on in your business. And now all of a sudden you don't.
You don't know this one thing.
Yeah,
Well, I was just saying, I really don't know, but you know.
No, you got your hands in everything. As a business owner, you have your hands in everything. You know how to do everything in your business. You may delegate it, but you know if that person leave today, I'm going to step in and take this role. You know, I can do the whole thing because I started off with nothing and now I'm here.
Started from the bottom down here.
Yes.
All right. Third quarter Benchwarmer. Dirk Nowitzki is expected to be back with the Mavs next season, his 21st.
Wow.
He said, quote unquote, I feel great. I've only missed one game all season. The question is, will his return next season benefit the Dallas Mavericks?
Well, number one, he's already on the books for money anyway. So
On his 2-year contract.
Yeah, so him leaving ain't gonna hurt. You know, will it benefit? He may stay around to be as a veteran to give these young kids something about work ethic and everything. So it won't hurt him to stay as long as he's not they don't put him in the starting lineup. You can come off the bench, you can be the 7th man or something like that, but you can't be the main focus of the Mavericks at the way you are right now. You're not the Dirk Nowitzki of old. You're a 20-year-older Dirk, and you can't shoot the shot the way you used to. Your legs can't jump the way, So will he benefit the Mavericks? That was your question. Will he benefit the Mavericks? I think the way he benefits is with his knowledge.
By him returning his
By him returning his knowledge, and him showing them how it's done. And it's always something where a kid comes in. Yeah, mentoring. It's always something where a kid comes in and you see the guy that you grew up with watching. And golly, I'm on this team. I want to see his work ethic because I want to do the same thing he did.
Right.
So that's how he will benefit the Mavericks.
Yep.
Okay. Any comments to one?
That is a great way because when you think about Kawhi Leonard before he kind of came to the forefront, it just will seem like there was a transition with Duncan leaving and all that kind of stuff where there was some tutelage or learning that happened along the way, so you know what it looks like to be a leader, you know what it means to be a clutch player, you know what it means to, in this time, what to do, how to respond to the reporters, what happens in the locker room, so forth and so on. So
It was the same way with Duncan and Dave Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Right,
That's
true. That
Yeah.
is exactly true.
And that's
true.
I think that's why San Antonio is not going to be as good as they've been because there's no
They did
other.
not have that.
There's
They don't
not
have
that person to put the baton to.
Right.
Shelley, in the comments?
Again, I agree with both Tawana and Cedric. I mean, Benchwarmer, excuse me. Oops. Doctor, I gotta say doctor too, huh?
All right.
I agree
Hello.
with both because I look at it this way. You again, when you're transitioning one person out, you should have the other person train them before they go.
Right.
So this can be a transition year for him, benefiting the organization by being that player that says, when the new people come in, I'm going to take you by the hand and lead you here, guide you here, show you the ropes over here, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. So yeah, it would be beneficial for him to stay, not to play, but to be that mentor to the new people coming in. And 7th man, like Cedric said, that's funny. You might need to be the 10th man. He getting old. Sorry, Dirk.
Jerome Parker said, "Man, release him."
Yeah, he did.
Before we go into the fourth quarter, I do want to mention a highlight. When Dirk Nowitzki is on the floor with the second unit, they produce more points per game than the starting unit, which is very interesting.
Because he's tooling that second unit.
Yeah.
So he's on the court mentoring.
Fourth quarter,
That's what you mentioned too.
That's true.
the fourth quarter is will segue into the next segment, NFL free agency.
Okay.
Cowboys signed Allen Hurns and Deontay Thompson the past week in lieu of Terrence Williams, breaking his foot in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, who will be the odd man out in Dallas?
Wow. See,
Come on, Benchwarmer.
And you can only keep 7 receivers.
okay, so well, we know Bryce Butler's gone.
Yes, he's gone.
Right.
We know he's gone. I mean, you still. What do you have? Cole Beasley. You got Brian Switzer,
Terrence Williams, Dez Bryant, Deontay Thompson, Alan Hearns, and
the young boy Brown.
Is it Noah
Brown?
Brown?
Yeah. The draft pick last year.
Right, and then there are 2 others.
A couple of I think it's on the other 2. But here's the deal. I think, and it's funny that I was like, why are they going after all these receivers? And we all thinking, man, Dez Bryant is on the, they can do something about Dez. But then this report that comes out about Terrence Williams breaking his foot, that recovery time is going to be some time. So is it going to be back for training camp? And if not, first of all, you brought in another Dez Bryant type.
Dez is an ex-receiver, and so is Alan Hearns.
Alan Hearns, yeah. He was going to wear number 17.
Yeah.
So you brought in, and then you brought in the speedster.
Mm-hmm.
But both of those, the productivity of Hearns was a lot better 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, his first 2 years, he had the best statistical numbers of any receiver in the history of the NFL.
With Blake Bortles as his quarterback.
With Blake Bortles as a quarterback, yeah. But then you kind of fell off because you still got Blake Bortles as your quarterback. So I don't think Dirk is the odd man out. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, not Dirk. I was looking at
Come on, man.
Dirk plays football too?
He tall enough, boy.
So the question is, who's the odd man out in Dallas?
I might want to say it might be Terrence Williams. I mean, with the broke foot and everything, we can hire you for a second or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we signed you to that contract friendly deal. I mean, you was extremely contract friendly, team friendly.
And he needs some stickle.
I do want to bring up if the Dallas Cowboys
need to show up sometime.
If they cut Terrence Williams, it will actually cost them
to cut him
$2.5 million more so than saving money.
Yeah. You don't want to cut him, but you might want to IR him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to reserve him. I mean, for me, and plus it was a non-football injury too. So you can actually cut him without getting penalized.
Depending on the nature of the injury.
On a non-football injury, you can be cut without getting penalized. Because you was not penalized, you were not injured at your job.
Stephen Jones wouldn't really elaborate on how he broke his foot, but he broke the 5th metatarsal bone in his foot, which is the same injury that Julio Jones had. Which resulted in him, when he did come back, he re-injured it, and he stayed out long. He stayed out long enough to where he didn't come back till he knew it was fully healed. Right. So this is a dangerous injury.
So he might be the odd man out for a second, and you brought these other receivers in. You keep Dez there. If I'm Dez, I'm giving Terrence some money. Because now I'm not necessarily negotiating my contract. And it is stated that Jerry Jones is slated to sit down with Dez
this upcoming week.
Yep. But remember, Jerry does not run that team anymore. Steven Jones does.
Steven's holding the money.
Yeah.
Hold the bag.
He's standing right in front of the vault.
But Jerry, you can't touch your own money.
Wow. How about you, Tawana?
Your credit card don't work.
Who you think is the odd man out in Dallas? I mean,
I'm going for Williams though.
I
really am. There's nothing really coming back too soon from that type of injury because you don't have the footwork, the speed, the agility to be able to cut and make. So it's easier to kind of
make that decision.
Yeah.
And he disappeared when he had all feet.
That's why I said he needs some sticker.
He did. I mean,
there was
so many games that Williams was like, does he even play for the Cowboys? What is his number? Does anybody know Terrence Williams' number offhand?
83.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, but
I was 80 something.
Yeah, 80 something. Yeah. All you said is 8. We're gonna move right on in. You want to answer that question? Who's the odd man out?
I guess not.
No, you want to?
That's okay.
Okay.
It's gonna skip right over me.
Well, he was the one who was doing all the answers.
Because you was talking.
Oh.
Well, you went right on to the next.
Oh, I was looking at the time too.
But she still can.
Yeah, answer the question. Actually, we have time.
I forgot what I was about to say.
Actually, we still have time.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I agree with y'all, whatever.
See that?
She just.
That wasn't what I was going to
She's
say.
on her
but-
little light, her time in the limelight. Do not forget about shit. She wearing red, so that's the attention getter.
Oh, that's not why I wore it.
All right, let's roll.
Red is my color. I just wore red.
All right, free agency moves. Cowboys actually started getting some free agents. They brought in 2 offensive linemen, one from New England, another from who was the other offensive line they brought in?
Some I'm gonna cut this
Not a
in.
clue.
Some dude from the 49ers.
Yeah, from the 49ers. Yeah, so they brought in one.
Jonathan Cooper.
Cooper's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
I think
Glad.
that's really.
Yes. The way Cooper got ate up in Atlanta,
Oh my God.
the way he got ate up in Atlanta, he should have been gone. So, and they're looking at moving Lil Collins back to guard. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's his natural position, but they're looking to move him back to guard, which is going to play right next to Tyron Smith. Mm-hmm. But then we got a backup for Tyron Smith, your boy out of New England. Mm-hmm. Some of the free agency surprises.
Like who?
Kirk Cousins getting all that money.
A full guarantee 3-year, $84 million contract. So when he signed the contract, all that money went in his pocket.
It did.
Basically, it did.
It did. You can get hurt and you still good.
That's crazy.
And what's so crazy about it is he went to Minnesota, and Minnesota had 3 quarterbacks: Case Keenum,
Sam Bradford,
and Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them gone.
I remember asking you that question about almost 2 months ago. And out of those 3 quarterbacks, who you think is going to start next season?
Case Keenum gets him a nice little. Where did Case go? Case Keenum gets him.
He went to Denver.
He's at Denver. He signed a 2-year, $36 million contract.
Bradford went to AZ.
How does Bradford continue to make money?
1 year, $20 million. Yeah. And then Bridgewater went to the Jets.
Yeah. He's probably the worst of all of them.
Yeah.
Because the Jets are just...
That obviously is going to be a quarterback competition when training camp starts.
Yeah.
Out of him. And they also brought back number 15. Josh McCown.
Josh McCown, yeah.
On a 1-year deal.
But there's no competition there.
I mean, between Bridgewater and McCown, you would think it would be. Because Bridgewater wants to get back on the field.
Yeah, but Bridgewater's a better quarterback than McCown.
And he's much younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, well, we got to see if he comes back from that injury.
Right.
If he comes back right, then, Cowboys also, you mentioned they got 2 receivers. And do you think, because of the moves, number one, what do you think about their moves late and not early?
Who moves?
The Cowboys moves. Because they was not in the free agency pulpit when they first started.
Well, again, you have to, and I brought this. I don't know who I brought this up to, but I had I brought up a 2018 dead cap money. The Cowboys have to pay. Number 1 on the list is Tony Romo.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's in the booth, and Jerry has to pocket him $8.9 million this season.
But this is last. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we did. We
knew that was going to happen. So let's not act like we didn't know.
A lot of money.
That is a lot.
He got paid Cedric Thornton $2.5 million. He's not even on the team no more.
Wow.
And then Nolan Carroll, who wasn't even on the team the whole year. And we owe him $2 million. Then Vincent Mayowa, $1.1 million.
Who's not on the team?
That's almost $20 million.
No, yeah, 8.
I said almost. I just rounded off. There's probably 15, maybe 13, 14.
Okay, you know what?
Almost.
13 and 20, not almost.
8, 9, 11 and a half, 13 and a half. That's $15 million
in dead money.
In dead money. So to answer your question, I actually applaud Jerry Jones for not being so quick to go out there like the Rams, who has the money to do what they're doing right now. But as I mentioned,
but they had the money though.
Steven is standing right in front of their vault.
Mm-hmm. And
he's being frugal
ain't budging.
as he should be because his father.
He got the only key.
Because his father, the previous 10 years, has been either backloading money or giving more money than what the athlete was worth. Mm-hmm. And then when you cut him because of productivity, I still got to pay him.
Right.
So,
but having said that,
the slowness, I don't blame him because you need to find a way to get in a position where the Rams are and the Browns, who have all this money in the world to sign whoever they want to sign.
But having said that, though, look what the Eagles are doing.
That's true.
Eagles are steady building.
They are steady building.
Steady building. They have not. They got a free agency. They went in with a splash, but then the Michael Bennett thing happened.
Yeah.
So Michael Bennett he was indicted actually.
Yes.
Yeah, he was indicted
for injuring a elderly paraplegic.
Yeah. On the
football field
because he wanted to go see his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I think honestly,
is Roger Goodell is he gonna get fined like is he gonna get fined like
I have to see the outcome of that because that's
because if he does not get done the same way Ezekiel Elliott gets done,
we're gonna have some
problems.
I'm gonna have some problems.
There's gonna be some huge issues because he's indicted. That means he's got to go to court. That means there's gonna be a conviction because there are witnesses that said that he did what he said. There it is. And if he does not get, if we don't do 6 games or more, we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, yeah. But going back to the cap and answer your question, I think Stephen, as you kept saying, he's pretty much the man in Big D right now. Even though the dad is still there, who calls the last shots. We see he's going not Stephen. He's gonna sit down the daddy with Des Bryant sometime within the next few days. You didn't see Stephen. It's Jerry.
Because Jerry still got to act like he running things.
Well, he got the power.
Now, listen.
He got the power.
So what do you think the conversation is going to be? You can stay?
I think that the Cowboys' decision is made up, but I think Des will listen more to Jerry than he would Stephen.
Well, why did Jason Garrett come out today and said, "Oh, we love Des. We love him to stay here."
I mean, that's true. I mean, come on.
I don't think.
Let's not play.
Are you getting rid of Dez or not?
I don't think they're going to do anything with Dez. I think everything.
I think he stays, and I think Des Bryant, if he pictures himself out there in free agency, he has to. There's some thoughts that has to come across his mind. I don't think I'm going to get as much out there as I am staying here.
Right. Yeah. I don't think he's going anywhere. No more. I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're going to do anything with the contract. Remember. I believe everything that we're talking about now is media-led.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, because they're asking the question, what you going to do, Dez?
And the Cowboys not saying anything.
I know.
This is a different day and age where the Cowboys don't tilt their hand. We don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they just do not tilt their hand.
So Alan Hearn signs a 2-year, $12 million. That's $6 per. What do you say is fair for Dez? You go from 12.5 to what?
You keep more years.
12.5?
Yeah, you keep more years. Why would you reach?
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Now you do know if they're keeping it at 12.5, that counts at almost $17 million against the cap.
Yeah, I mean it's already all we doing. We just saved actually saved like $7-8 million right now for because we did Travis Frederick's contract
and the Cowboys find themselves having to backload contract.
And we did Jason Witten's contract.
Yep.
Okay.
Frederick and Witten.
I mean, but if you got rid of Dez though. To free agency, who's to say that Dez doesn't go to the Giants or to the Eagles,
Redskins,
or to the Redskins?
That would be terrible.
Yeah, who's to say he doesn't go to somebody that we don't want to come and yes, and Dez we might think he's washed up. I remember a receiver from the St. Louis Cardinals. His name was Larry Fitzgerald, who went through that same downhill spiral.
Yes,
and he still is a productive receiver.
Right.
The reason he's productive is something I think Dez should entertain. Larry Fitzgerald decided to become different in the way he runs his routes, and he became a possession receiver.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't Dez just go hire a route running coach?
Yes, he did.
I think he's doing the same thing.
When Fitzgerald made that move, he averaged almost 90 to 95 catches a season.
I think Dez is doing the same thing because he's got a route running coach, so he's working on his routes. He's showing the Cowboys, I'm going to work on my stuff.
Right.
Don't do nothing. I'm working on me.
So you keep it at 12.5 million?
I keep it there. I mean, why move? You want to save capital, right? We're not going after the big fish in the free agency.
I'm just saying, it would count $17.5 million
now
against a cap if you pay them $12.5 million.
It'll count now. After you finish that, you ain't counting no more. Because if you backload his contract, guess what? You restructure his contract. You're not going to restructure his contract where he's not going to make that money, where he's not going to see a lot of it. You're going to restructure it to where he's going to push it back so you can have some more capital.
Why are sitting down with Dez in a few days?
Probably just say,
hey, man, what you just said.
Probably just say, hey man, we got you covered. Don't listen to media. Because Dez is actually out there talking. So man, y'all don't know what you're talking about, And you got Shannon Sharp saying, Dez, you need to pay attention. You got people out there that really don't know nothing from nothing, and they in Dez's ear. They're in Dez's ear. So Dez is probably saying, Jerry, come on, let's talk. Jerry said, let's talk. Man, don't even worry about that.
Don't
we
listen
good
to the
here.
haters.
Yeah, we are good here. You don't worry about that. That's why you keep your 88 and let Hearns get his 17.
So it goes at your theory, this is all media led.
I think so.
It's media driven.
It happens all the time.
It does.
So by you being in the media, we
No,
are in the media. So by
not
you being in the
media.
Well, we're still in the media because
Yes,
we do go to places where other media members are.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so by us being in the media, at the same time, you saying the media can cause a bunch of mess.
Start rumors.
My question is, how you feel about that as an individual who's been in the business almost 20 years?
I think the stories are so there's not many stories around this city right now. So in order for you to sell papers, in order for you to get people watching your show, in order for you to you got to put something out there. You got to make it look like, okay, this is what's really going on. This is what's out there. Because you got to sell papers. How you with sports teams, you got to put butts in seats.
Sure.
Right? This is how we stir the pot. In order for you to stir the pot, you're gonna put something out there that might sound, and you're gonna make it plausible. You're gonna make it sound good. You're gonna put all the bells and whistles on it.
So do you do that, Benchwarmer?
Every once in a while. That's why we got he say she say. That's why he say she says about. When the show is boring, we go he say she say.
Oh, is that what that is?
No. But let's do this right here. Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. We're going to take a quick break. This is going to be the last break of the evening. When we come back, we got to get into some basketball conversation. NBA. Are the Rockets the number one seed? Are they that good?
Well, they're looking good right now.
See when we come back.
There you go. All right, this has been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411radionetwork.com. We're going to take this last break, and when we come All right. We're back. Yeah, final 15 minutes in. That was Drake with Fake Love. That sound like a DJ, huh? This is just DJ CDB. It's old Drake with Fake Love.
CDB. What is CDB?
I don't know.
Who?
Made it up, huh?
Yeah, I just made that up.
You talking about this DJ CDB?
Yeah. Drake with Fake Love. All right, now our Power Love, Time of Crime. We come to the last time.
Okay. Okay.
So, got to get into some NBA conversation here. We got the seeds here. We got locks and non-locks. So, Western Conference is Houston Rockets are the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State is the number 2 seed.
We knew that.
Yeah, we knew that. Portland is number 3 seed. And now here we're going to enter the lockjam. Oakland City Thunder is number 4. Oklahoma.
Boy.
I'm thinking Oakland Raiders. Now I'm thinking LA Raiders. I'm thinking Las Vegas Raiders, but I think Oakland. New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are number 5.
Wow, they up there.
San Antonio is number 6 seed.
They'll be in the playoffs again.
Yeah. And Minnesota Timberwolves is 7, and Utah Jazz is 8.
Okay.
Now
Utah Jazz is 8.
Yes, they're the 8th seed. Yeah, now the Nuggets can get in and the Clippers can get in, but the things have got to happen.
Need some help.
Yeah, they need some help. So let's go back to the number 1 seed, Houston Rockets. First of all, is James Harden the MVP?
He will be the MVP. I don't think he might be. He will be.
He will be.
Yeah, MVP. And there's no close second.
None. And that's so crazy. No. You got the great LeBron, and he's not even a close second.
He's not even close to the production Harden has put on the floor. He has improved from last year. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, can he be MVP when the game matters the most in the closing seconds of a tight game? In the last 2 seasons, we saw him falter in moments that he shouldn't have. Fumbling the ball out of bounds.
Right.
Last year against Golden State, where he had the ball in his hand
and he
screwed it up.
Can he be clutch when it's time?
This is James Harden we're talking about.
Right.
If you're the most valuable player, can you be that way in the playoffs when the team needs you the most? The only difference between this year and last year for me is Chris Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
When Chris Paul became point guard on this team, this whole team just
because
flew.
the distribution is a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
The ball distribution is a lot
He
different.
made that much of a difference to this ball.
But Jason Kidd did the same thing with the Mavericks.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
When he came to the Mavs, he made a difference.
He made that big difference. So when you have a good quarterback, then it makes a...
And that's my favorite term with point guards. When you have a true quarterback like John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Urban Magic Johnson, Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got a little hype over here.
What you been drinking on? You been in my medicine?
I've been in your medicine.
Well, I'm mentioning names. These are true quarterback and point guards.
Right.
Who is pass first, shoot second. Mm-hmm. When you have someone that can distribute the ball and put it in the right spots, your whole team goes on another level.
Right.
Absolutely.
How good is Golden State without Stephen Curry?
I think they are still. I think they are still solid because of the elevated play of Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. I think when KD and Steph on the same team, can't nobody stop. Not even Houston.
But I think Houston. If it boils down, I think in a 7-game series, Houston will probably beat Golden State. And the reason why I'm saying it is because I'm talking about at the current era that they're in right now. First of all, can Steph Curry stay healthy?
Well,
he's been battling injuries for a while.
It's his ankle.
And the same one.
He rolled his ankle a couple weeks ago.
The same one. Mm-hmm. Can he stay healthy? Because if he can't stay healthy,
then Houston.
Then you got Houston.
I think Houston
and you have to look at that. That has to be a factor in your equation of who's going to come out the West. There's got to be a factor.
That's true.
You're right. You know, when you look at Golden State and Houston, you have to say to yourself, which ball club has more ballers than the other? And it's Golden State. Right. Golden State probably have 4 or 5 of them to Houston's 3, maybe.
You're right, but you said something earlier. Who's the quarterback?
Okay, so Chris Paul is a better ball distributor than Steph Curry.
No. What I'm saying is when Steph Curry is off the floor.
No, I didn't know when he's on the floor.
Huh?
I think
no. Chris Paul is better.
I think he's a better ball distributor than Steph Curry.
But when Steph Curry is off the floor,
Oh, the whole game changes.
But so then your shooters, exactly. So then your shooters, as far not your shooters, but your Kevin Durant's and those players right there are not being fed the way they should be when Steph Curry's on the floor. Draymond Green, they're not being fed that way.
Klay Thompson.
So then, if you're including the injury process into a 7-game series with Houston and Golden State, and Steph Curry does get injured, then Golden State has more problems than they have solutions.
Yeah.
And so now, if you're going to include that, I'm going to go back to 7-game series. I'm going Houston.
Yeah, I would have to favor Houston in that instance. And it makes you think, if the Golden State Warriors 2 years ago did not make the move to get Kevin Durant on the team, and they had the same team that's been battling the Cavs the past 2 or 3 seasons up to this point, I would think that Houston would give them a run for their money without Durant. So I think the addition of Kevin Durant, that additional shooter, they really needed him.
They needed him last year. Yeah. Well, they needed Durant for that because, remember, the year before, Golden State just ran out of gas.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, they just ran out of gas. They came in guns ablazing and just stopped.
Last year they won 74
games. Yeah, they beat Chicago, and then they just stopped. They just ran out of gas. They went through, and the bad part about it is they was beating teams and they just stopped.
Yeah.
You know, now you bring in Durant. You know, they learn how to pace themselves. You know, and then they win a championship. Now you come back again. Now you got Steph Curry hurt. You know, and then the team looks a little different. They look different than they did last year. They don't look like the last year's team could beat this year's team.
Right.
Houston's team this year could beat last year's team.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That is so true.
I can
Very
see that.
true.
So now we're back. We'll be back right back at it again.
My only thing about Houston I worry about is the philosophy of how they play ball when it comes to their head coach.
Yeah.
Who's their head coach?
Who was that?
For
Houston.
Oh.
Mike D'Antoni.
D'Antoni. Yeah. And his philosophy.
Do you know his philosophy? It's all about offense.
It goes back to Phoenix.
Yep. Even any defense.
It goes back to Phoenix when he was in Phoenix.
Remember the days in Phoenix where he threw his team always threw 170 points at one time.
Yeah, it was all.
But he would lose 156 to 148.
Right.
Because he didn't emphasize defense as much. Now he has changed a little bit because he realized that, but that bothers me going to the playoffs. You know, when it comes to the playoffs, it's a half-court game.
Yep. Which brings me to Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
Could that be the team that takes out Houston?
Now that's my sleeper pick. Is OKC because they got some balls too.
Yeah, and Westbrook.
Oh yeah.
He's even better than he was last year.
Triple double.
Yeah. Westbrook can that be the team that takes out Houston?
Yes.
Ability, yes.
Now, number one is
you got the firepower.
Number one is will they make it to Houston?
They'll make it.
No. Houston plays. If the playoffs were at the end of the day, Houston would play Utah Jazz.
Okay.
Golden State would play. Let's see. Golden State would play Minnesota.
Okay.
All right. Portland would play San Antonio. Oklahoma City would play the Pelicans.
And that's another.
And will the can the Pelicans beat Oklahoma City? See, that's the game.
No.
You don't think so?
No. They have outstanding big men, but the rest of their ball club is to me average players. They don't have. OKC will blast them in 5 games to me.
What's Jerome saying?
Roadman?
MVP.
Yeah, what is it? Oh, MVP.
James
Who's
Harden.
the MVP?
He's saying James Harden.
James Harden.
Now,
he just put that up there.
Now,
I was gonna say, we're gonna touch on the East.
I ain't gonna touch on this right now.
I know you don't like the East.
I'm gonna touch on this. So we'll get to the West later.
Stick it on the West, boys.
Yeah, let's go to the East. Okay, so the number 1 seed is Toronto.
That don't surprise me.
Number 2 is Boston.
As they should be.
Number 3 is Cleveland.
As they should be.
Number 4 is 76ers.
That's shocking.
That's so shocking.
Yeah, it is.
That's shocking.
Now, let's stop right there. Man, you have been talking over the last couple of years. They have all these number 1 draft picks. over the course of 3 or 4
Westbrook's
years.
for MVP.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He Westbrook, he
Oklahoma City, so sometimes.
That's where we from. We from Oklahoma.
He a homer. Okay.
Bro, man, from the 4th floor.
I'm with you.
What's up, bro, man?
So that Philadelphia has all these number 1 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid kept getting hurt. Simmons got hurt last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now they all
It's all together.
Finally.
Finally.
They got a ball club.
They're gonna put it together, and if once they get to the tournament, they may put it together that much more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. Indiana Pacers number 5 seed.
Okay, I can.
Washington Wizards 6.
Yeah.
The Miami Heat number 7 seed.
That's somewhat
That's
surprising.
5.
That's
And
very
Milwaukee Bucks
surprising.
the 8 seed. I'm surprised Miami is still hanging
Me
around.
too.
Me too.
At 7.
Yeah.
Who's below who's 9, 10, 11? You have that?
I don't have a 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
I just got number 8 because in the East it really don't matter now.
So there's no Atlanta, there's no
Atlanta's somewhere down
Orlando.
there.
Yeah, they somewhere down. Atlanta's somewhere down
Crazy.
there. Yeah. So what's surprising to me is LeBron goes and fires everybody on his team, gets a whole another team.
He fired everybody.
Yeah, he did. LeBron called that
Baby
whole
Bron.
thing. He called that whole at the trading deadline. He called that whole thing.
That is so true.
Fired the whole team. I'll
That
stay.
is so true.
Baby Bron.
And we're bringing a whole another team on. And this team in their first game, they looked like, oh yeah, this is it right here.
Mm-hmm.
That first game, they looked, oh my God, he knew what he was doing. Now they starting to drop themselves back. Drop themselves. Can Bron? Can he do it again? Can he muster it back up again?
Get that momentum back.
With the Toronto and the Boston Celtics right in front of you.
If you're a true MVP, yes.
Yes, you can. Yep. I agree.
If you are.
If you're a true MVP in the playoffs, and I cannot ever doubt LeBron James because he might have his
'cause
bad
it's the
weeks,
East. It's the East.
and then he
If he was in the West.
Not
the
even-
competition
I
in
know.
the East, I
East
know
is
it's
not
far
strong.
less superior than the West.
Yeah, if you was in the West, would you then say that?
Nope.
No,
You can't.
I can't.
Okay, so here's the question. And this is kind of going a little bit off the beaten path, but here's the question though. Who can guard LeBron back in the day? Scottie Pippen,
Dennis Rodman.
Scottie
Oh,
Pippen.
most definitely Dennis Rodman.
LeBron, he could be guarded back in the day.
Dennis
I
Rodman.
would like to see him
Derek
against
Harper
the
could
mailman.
probably.
I don't think Harper. No.
The mailman could guard him.
That's a good
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Larry Bird could guard him.
No.
Larry Bird was a good defensive player.
LeBron would run over him.
Kevin was too.
Kevin McHale say Atlanta. So Parker says Atlanta is one of the worst teams this year. Philly might make some noise in the East this though. So he's
That's
saying
bro, man.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's sorry.
Atlanta. I still
Dennis
love him.
Rodman to me, he screams when it comes to who can defend LeBron the best.
Easy.
Oh man, he'll give
Because it
LeBron
get in his
fits.
head. Because Bron is a baby still.
Baby
That
Bron.
is so right.
But listen, Dennis Rodman got in Karl Malone's head. Karl Malone was doing stuff that he never did while he was Karl Malone was flailing. He looked like a Ginobili flop.
Rodman, yeah.
Yeah, he'd get your head. So, I'll say that right there.
I think for what it's worth, Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah, Michael Jordan.
We keep
I said
tending
Michael
to
Jordan.
oh you
Y'all
didn't.
just rolled right past me.
We keep kind of
Jordan was like 2 or 3
Forget
times
that.
defensive player of the year.
yes.
Yeah,
He can
Jordan
defend.
could defend. Yeah, he could defend.
He has nice hands.
Easy.
Mhm.
Easy. And matter of fact, he could defend LeBron and make him look bad going down the other court.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I would say probably Jordan and Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman number 1 though.
Yeah. We got 2 minutes. We kind of went a little bit over. We're going to dig a little bit more into the playoffs as they come closer.
Okay.
I do want to do this right here, though. The draft, if the draft is coming up and the Mavericks have a chance to pick number 3 in the NBA draft. I mentioned this earlier. There are 9 freshmen that were probably drafted before any senior. The next one is going to be a sophomore.
Mhm.
Then you got your juniors, and you got a sophomore, freshman, a senior. So that's like 11 freshmen that would be drafted before a senior. This is why the product in NCAA basketball is where it is. Because they allow freshmen to come into the draft, to the NBA. I mean, there's no other, except baseball, but baseball that makes you go to the minor leagues. Baseball will draft you at a high school, make you go to the minors, spend your time in the minors too, and while you're playing, and you can still play college ball while you've been drafted, But in college and in football, You can't go from high school to the pros. In basketball, you can go from the high school to the pros and still be good. Kobe Bryant, as soon as he came in, he was good. LeBron James, as soon as he came in, he was good. And it's not just this is not just this era. Shoot, Chocolate Thunder.
Oh yeah.
You know, Moses Malone.
Yeah.
This is in the 70s. Went from straight from high school to the NBA and was good.
It was good.
This is why the product, the NCAA product, is where it is now. Because they allow them to just they don't allow them to mature themselves while they're in high. Before when in the Magic Johnson era, they went all 4 years.
Yep.
Magic Johnson, Mark Aguirre out of DePaul. Yeah.
But what drives this is money.
Oh,
Because
yeah. It is.
if an agent sees that the likes of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett
Kevin Garnett
can have this just this dominant power to be so good they can go right to the NBA and make money.
Yes.
But the NBA,
They're not even considering putting them in.
but the NBA is allowing this.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
They're allowing it.
It's the money.
And football, you can't go to the NFL as a sophomore, but you can go as a junior and you can go as a senior, but you can't go as a sophomore.
What?
Yeah, they don't let you in the NFL if you're a sophomore. You better play your
At
next year.
least the junior.
Yeah, you gotta get at least the junior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the NBA, you can go anytime you want to go. I can come out of junior high. If I'm 6'7" and tearing up stuff, bring me in. Put me in, coach.
Yeah, what about the guy that plays on the Bucks? His family, he was born and raised in Nigeria. They moved to Greece. His name is Giannis something.
The Greek freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, looking at him as
I'm like,
well.
that dude.
He is
a
a
beast.
beast.
Yeah.
And you know he leaped over somebody that was like, what was it? He was really tall.
He was
And
6'7".
dunked on somebody.
He just flat out leaped over.
Yeah, he's off the chain.
Yeah.
But it happens.
It happens.
All right, we're gonna have to wrap up here. Any last final parting thoughts?
That's it for me. There was a great show. Looking forward to next week.
What is the hot topic for next week?
Next week is when you get married, you agree to share more than your feelings and a bathroom. You also share property with your spouse. But what property must you share and what remains your own?
Your kids.
Wait, must you share the kids or do they remain your own?
Remain your own. On the
So basically, it's what's
Child
your
support.
property versus what's your spouse's property, and what do you jointly own together, and what remains your own.
Can we share child support?
Boy, no. You pay that by
Oh,
yourself.
see? All right, this has been 401 Sports Talk Radio.
And we will have an in-studio guest next week. No, they won't be in studio, but they'll be on the phone.
Oh, yeah. This has been 401 Sports Talk Radio on 401radionetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer, security, professor, doctor, and Daniel on the cameras. We will see y'all when we see y'all.
Daniel on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
So now then,
See y'all
bite
next
Beyonce.
Have a healthy week.
That was a good show.